Baby, yes! This is a spicy workout. Gotta make it worth it. Building the beef and bringing home the bacon, baby. I'm loving it. Teriyaki is just about within your reach. Come on, get you some. Come on. Maximum effort. Maximum effort. You're there. You're almost there.
That's so worth it.
What do you make of this up here? Just showed up in the yard a couple days ago.
Dog been digging in here?
I don't think so, dude. That goes way down in there. Seriously, did you just lose your meat stick?
Yeah.
Oh, no. There's something in there, dude. Just leave it.
Are you kidding me?
We'll just head to the house. Just leave it.
The hell with that.
Oh, yeah, there's something in there.
Want one?
Thank you.
It was worth it.
Oh, man, this is incredible.
Oh, wow.
Huh?
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
It is pretty cool. Hey, man, grab me a meat stick. I think I can reach it if I just a little more. Just let me go a little. I can't. Just a little more. I almost got it. Careful! Oh, God. No. Come on, just reach. Reach. Just grab my hand. I can't hold. Grab my hand.
Give me the meat stick. This other hand's closer. The one with the stick is... Oh! What am I supposed to say?
It doesn't matter. He's dead. He ain't listening to you anyway.
I'm hungry.
No. Put it away. I can't watch it. Oh, crap. Just reach in. You gotta pull it. Just grab it. Just take it out of his hand. What do you mean you can't?
He won't let go.
What do you mean he won't let go? He's dead.
Help me. Get in there. Now just hold on.
Make him let go of it. No, I got you. Just go in for a hug. Go ahead and get on in there. It's a bad loss. Yeah, hug him up. Just reach, hug him up.
He's breathing. I think it's on the other side.
Go.
I can't do it.
Help me, Lord. Help me get over this.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the NECC Marvel Rivals Summer Tournament Playoffs. We bring you into the Division 3 quarterfinals. Bear Light joining Hail Monkey Man here tonight for this one. In Monkey Man, we get to see some Marvel Rivals. We saw a little bit last week. Excited to jump into playoff time where everything matters just a little bit more.
Single elimination online, and just like my bad boy here with Stanley would say, Excelsior! All these teams going to be meeting up to that level, to that rock, and to the summer where everything's heating up, and to include this competition. Bear, group stages, it took down, I think it was groups of what, 6 and 7, just down to 3. So they got to make it out of this first round and meet those top 2 seeds.
100%. And let's go ahead and get into the teams that we're going to be seeding tonight. The Division 3 quarterfinals to play into Leslie University. In the semifinals will take place between uOttawa Esports facing off with Elon Gold here tonight. North Carolina school. I'm a North Carolina native, so excited to see them in action as well. uOttawa coming in at 5-1 from that Group A of Division 3. Meanwhile, Elon Gold at the 3-3 mark, being third in their group coming into the playoffs here. But you're saying that beforehand that sometimes numbers maybe not telling the full story here.
And I'm definitely one of those guys that likes to take a hot take and maybe make it a little bit hotter. Elon, 3-3, they had a full set, a full grouping, and everyone that they ended up losing to, it was either in a game 5, which happened to both the number 1 and number 2 seeds that came out of that group, or to a game 4. I think that was MTSU, who they split the difference with for that 3-3. So, to that measure and to that rock, it feels like this is a team that knows how to go with depth. The other group, it was uOttawa. They didn't have a couple teams that they ended up forfeiting out. I don't feel like we have a huge and complete measurement of this entirety of what of Elon's bring in. Also, uOttawa has given us a little bit of background story. This group is halfway comprised of brand new students to the esports scene, coming from Overwatch and Splatoon of all things. So a lot of mishmash kind of brought together for this tournament in particular.
Yeah, I mean, that can kind of go hand in hand to some degree. You got some shooters, you have some heroes that might be reflected of that, but sure, it's a completely different ball game, completely different ballpark altogether. But uOttawa's also got some leadership. You mentioned, they had mentioned Korean and V-Striker as two of the ones coming over from Overwatch and really leading that team, being able to guide a group of individuals who may not even have esports competitive experience. I love leadership in esports, Scholastic esports specifically. uOttawa is a prime example of just that. They went 17-4 in maps played over the course of this season. So that being said, I mean, it's still gonna be a tough team to go up against, but Elon Gold 14-9 in maps played too. So even though they're 3-3 coming in, like I mentioned, you can surely see for a fact that they have a fire behind them as well, Monkey.
There's a lot of changes that they're going to have to bring to it. And you know what? 3-3, I love dirty records. And that's exactly what we're going to go to first, as we're going to check out Krakoa and the Hellfire Gala. We're going to go into some domination to kick things off. Remember, it's a micro BO3 inside of our first to 3. You sometimes hear me say and hear us say best of 5, but there can be ties in this. So we're going to be talking about that. Also, in case you're wondering, season 3 did start, but Jean Grey, the Phoenix, is not online, is not tournament legal right now. Neither is the new Clintar map. So you will not see either of those. We will not get the hug of death that is basically Wolverine and Jean Grey. We will be going to this first map, though, and some domination online.
No doubt about it. So we'll go ahead and get in the bands here and check it out. I mean, as far as this map goes, it's certainly an open space. You can expect that with any domination map, right? And so I'm certainly looking for those leaders in being able to kind of group together, be able to play together. So we'll see who we've got going on. First ban, Jeff is actually off the board. Interesting pick there. Magneto, maybe less interesting, though.
Magneto has been kind of a hot stay for a lot of people, kind of that, you know, key defensive button, and so they want to be able to break through. This newest patch brought a lot of damage, fall off, as well as making everyone dangerous. So they want to get rid of Magneto in a big way, and they want to lock in and make sure that a Doctor Strange will come through. Jeff being out of there takes away that little kind of symbiosis that he's formed with Venom. I don't mind that. And Spider-Man, he got a big buff. They want to make sure the Spidey is going to be slinging.
No, 100%. That's a good pick for sure. So imagine they're going to be in that dive state for Elon Gold. So that's what they played for a majority of the season, from my understanding. So they'll go right back to it, too. They banned Luna Snow, who's also gotten some quite love over the course of the beginning 3 seasons, no doubt about it. She still remains very deadly. And so to see her being banned as well, no surprise there from Elon. On the other side, Cloak and Dagger off the board here, too. So they lock in the Strange. They're going to ban the Cloak and Dagger. And now we've got Invisible Woman to lock into a safe bet there for Ottawa. That's been working for them too.
This has been getting pretty prototypical. You get rid of the Cloak and Dagger so you can be able to get the big cylinder of invisibility. That's going to be exactly where everyone's going to be living. No big AoEs otherwise, because you got rid of the Luna Snow. And so seeing that rocket, it's all coming to damage mitigation, especially. You're going to have the BRBs. You're going to have everyone really just kind of playing directly off of one another. On the side of Elon Gold, it seems like they want to dive deep, give some of that damage mitigation, and they want to have Spidey basically kidnapping people. He's a good guy. I promise you he is. This guy wouldn't have given him all the tech suits if he wasn't, but Spidey's going to go hunting, but they get rid of Star-Lord. Star-Lord's out of there, man.
Man, you better throw him away or we won't be seeing him into this lobby. It looks like we've got Human Torch off the board. Here's our...
Or villain, I'm not judging.
I think Mr. Fantastic would get a showing here, but I guess I got a little bit of a buff in the last little bit. So I think maybe that's the reason why. So Mr. Fantastic on the bottom side, Emma Frost more common, and of course that Spider-Man, like we saw, we'll see them from Zach Jump.
I mean, when you're going to do what you're going to find with Spider-Man kind of works well off Mr. Fantastic being kind of that off tank. Now, they did take some of his health away from when he is in full elasticity. He gets inflated and he's able to take a lot of that extra damage and then he swells, but they reduced that by a little bit. We're seeing that Psylocke, that butterfly dance is going to be very big. So I see this being kind of a crash and dash. You've also definitely see this going into an off tank kind of paradigm because they've got the Emma Frost. They have no one else. It's going to be a damage dive, especially with Spider. He's probably going to be going to that back line, and they're going to try and sustain that as long as they can with Mr. Fantastic as well as Rocket Raccoon. The Namor and the newly buffed, oh my goodness, Scarlet Witch. That's going to be huge if they can get that ultimate off.
Yeah, absolutely. The Reality Erasure is certainly one that's been boosted quite a bit. In the lower ranks, it already hits extremely hard. And we're not going to call this the lower ranks, right? They're a little bit newer to Marvel Rivals, maybe, perhaps. We've been talking a little bit about that, but you're still going to have a lot of skill levels. But that translates across the board. If you're talking Marvel Rivals Ignite, the pro level, or we're talking this collegiate level, either way, you're going to find plenty of value from that. Just adds a little bit of extra as we see the first engagement here.
Remember, Zach on that Spider, you can be able to get a lot more damage when you get the amazing combo if you can be able to get them in an aerial. So they're aiming to kidnap from that backline and see what they can do with it. You are going to be shielding up as a Doctor Strange and try and get a lot of sustain otherwise, but this is kind of a scatter plot. When you try to fight for that initial site, you're going to see the immediate first blood coming away from the Phoenix as Reezy will go down, so there's Psylocke no longer there to kind of be stealthy and fight to that back line. Everything else is otherwise fighting from just around an off point. Aiming to unlock it, though, even with that first blood, and even another one for Elon, but it looks like the numbers are starting to play in favor of the GGs out of Ottawa.
Yeah, I like the way that Elon started out, and they were gripped up pretty well, but then once they got spread, and credit the Hulk for sure for causing a little bit of chaos there, and then able to separate the rest of the back line there. But as you can see, once the strategist fell, all the rest followed suit. So Elon, a strong start there initially, but Ottawa was able to get the best of them and get that first engagement, the ever important first capture here on this one.
They're basically going for a stealthy backline jump if they can get Spider-Man as well as Psylocke to be able to just isolate a would-be strategist, and now you have what is going to be this Mr. Fantastic. He has to go full elasticity and really pump up that inflation state, take over a doorway if he can. Ottawa has fantastic sustain. You get it on the Hulk, and you also have it because of the shield off of Doctor Strange, and it's so hard to be able to take everyone and anyone down. And I'm wondering if there's going to be any kind of switch outs later on. They're playing from off of this point. We're nearly halfway for the GGs, starting to make this one good. Big kill, and that's also because those Tridents just got a little bit speedier.
Yeah, 100%. Plus, the CEO is able to add a little bit of boost damage. So, for that reason, Ottawa was able to at least win the first little bit of the exchange. But look, as Elon is able to kind of push and make their presence known on the point here, too. So, really just kind of an exchange of both as a psionic seduction to try to pull them in. But they're not going to be able to gather much. Just a little bit too farther back. They do pull in one, though. So, see you later, Invisible Woman. You're just caught in the wrong place, wrong time. And V-Striker will pay for it because of that, too.
I wish Emma Frost would grab me by the throat and crush me like that just happened. My goodness, taking Doctor Strange to town, and Elon trying to at least engage and get some level of push onto this site. It's 20% until this one is completely the way of Ottawa. They'll still have another map, and you also got to start thinking about that total ult economy. They're going to shrink him back down to the scientists. Goodbye, Banner. Taking that for now. This one finally unlocked for the Phoenix.
Yeah, it took a lot of econ, though, as far as ultimates go in order to make that happen. So they're going to be left down to just their Eye of Agamotto, which needs others to happen as well. Sorry, I apologize. It looks like Hulk's got that one as well. So they'll be able to transform into a better form. But all the rest of Elon has used that, too. So I have Eye of Agamotto out, and they'll start this engagement, too. They get the first pick off the board.
What can you really do with that? Everyone gets all themselves stunned up, and then you eventually see Elon Gold, two of them fall again. That's two of your big damage dealers right off the board, and it's a full wipe. They held it for all of a moment, but this one's flipping right back around. Ottawa's trying to take this one completely. We are bouncing around. As long as you have a target to hit, Mr. Fantastic will come back down with another fist, but eventually the pavement gets a little bit too wet, and that ball loses its rubber. Elon, I don't think they're going to get back to this. They're going to preserve what they got. This first one will go to the GGs.
And that's why I was talking about how important it was to really cap that first point there at Cradle. It really does show that once you get that first point, it can continue to tick, especially when you're in this composition that's going to allow you to stay in fights for an extended period of time. That just means your counter is going to be ticking upwards. It takes a full cap on the other side in order to switch that one around and then start to make progress yourself. So as that continues to tick up, then you're just one fight away, one micro fight, really, from being able to keep that going. And so a big part of that, first little bit is not necessarily the fragging, it's they're staying alive. As you see 4 on the board, which is 1 death throughout, certainly played a role here for uOttawa, as they're just 1 cap away from winning domination.
You know, we were talking about how some of these students came over from Ottawa came over from other esports, some Overwatch, some Splatoon. I was wondering if we're going to see some Winter Soldier. That's currently not what they're sitting up with. Maybe Namor Striker is somewhere in that range. I think they're actually one of their Overwatch players, so not at all surprised to see them taking now the speed buff that has come up to that Aquan Slayer. On Elon, they do bring the Winter Soldier, so they're going to have that Kraken if they can be able to get it. But I want to see how maybe they kind of open up this can with this Dance of the Butterflies. That will be so pivotal if they can push them to off that site, have an elongated fight, maybe catch them just on the last half of that HP bar.
They're going to have to release a Kraken on the Krakens, aka the squids of the Namor. He's done a lot of damage here. The V-Striker is going to certainly amp that a little bit up first, as you see the space taken already from Ottawa. I mean, they're just not reluctant to jump on and be able to challenge because of their front line. They've done a great job of having that support for the back line too. The strategist able to pull through, and they're causing damage of their own too. They're not getting complacent. There will be 1 res, but I'm not sure it's enough to keep them in this fight here. Ottawa might cap first, but there is a lot of presence still from Elon pumping.
Elon already put out that invisible boundary, and they used the butterfly dance, and that did at least get a couple of nice picks, but otherwise it went sideways against them. GGs are pushing them on back, and Striker is throwing that Spear of Neptune, and they're landing on targets down and distance. That's a nice KO as they get rid of their extra player. So just continuing to throw them away. There goes at least your Emma Frost. So if that's your solo tank and you're playing kind of more to your off tank for that Mr. Fantastic, you can't really advance. They're stuck in this funnel point, and this map is dangerous because of it. They're gonna have to play from a flank angle.
uOttawa is so effective, and you can tell it goes to the leader. Like V-Striker, for example, as a DPS, you're looking to just kind of hold off Elon and create lanes, kind of force them into where you want them. And plus, they've got that horn, which also travels faster and hits harder, so that certainly helps in that engagement too.
If you have this triple up, you're going to try and at least shield their way back onto it. You also do have the reality erasure, and so as that one gets slowed through, they're aiming to at least get 1 pick. They get nothing out of that, so the GGs are starting to see themselves repelled. They're starting to get a few bodies laid to the ground, and that means everyone is going to begin to retreat and get what damage that they can. Elon, what a great rebuttal. They cannot allow this to become yet another 80 percentile, but they're starting to extend some of the percent timer. You have a lot of extra life. In fact, you got an entire extra, especially as the Gamma builds up. The Hulk smashing mad. A nice big kill off of that Psylocke, but eventually has to transform out. That's some bonus points, and that will keep Elon from capping it for this long. And now they have to fight 75% more bear. Wow.
Yeah, able to cap the point 1 step at a time. So 75% before they get onto it. But the Hulk popped that at the right time, right? They're transformed, but they had Zach surrounding them with Casual, who turned into spamming that heal that we learned to be accustomed to with the Rocket Raccoon. Just dropped that for some pure damage of their own. So that was a good combination that really got Elon on board. But their problem has not been capping or getting the point capped. It's being able to maintain it. And right now, they'll have their hands full for sure in this next engagement.
Gotta be able to take this one as best as they can into that funnel point, but that allows uOttawa to try and bust their way out. They didn't quite get rid of the scientist, so he's still up. There's a lot of ultimates that could suddenly erase everything, especially with the Eye of Agamotto burning bright. They actually quickly use the Namor ult, and then they push through. They have the invisible boundary, so you have to go fight in close corridors. Guess what? Your soul separated from your body. The erasure comes through, and that's a penta to be able to get the sight back.
Eyes on the prize. The Eyes of Agamotto set that sequence up, and then the Erasure does the rest. That's always been a deadly combo, and if you're not ready for it, you can fall victim to it very easily. Elon Gold, a very big victim, especially when you already had 75% off the board. They should be able to get back, but it's going to be a very tight squeeze. We'll see if they change here. No, they've got the Hulk already, so they should be able to get on point pretty quickly, and sure enough, here it begins.
Be a problem to try and actually fight for this one. They do at least have one ultimate, but the Kraken Impact is going to go bye-bye. This man just got nerfed, and then he got put in the dirt. They have no one left to stand there except for Doctor Strange and a big rubbery man. Elon is living on a thin razor's edge to try and keep this one alive, but overtime is ticking Bear, and I don't think they're going to have enough time to get back and sustain and gain.
Yeah, there's no way, especially when you're just fluffing 1-1. They'll keep it alive, but only temporarily here as the rest does their job in Ottawa. A very dominant domination here as Krakoa belongs to them. And it really was just a teamwork effort from the get-go. Korean and V Strikers certainly showing that leadership that we anticipated here. They're really showcasing why they are 17-4 in maps played over the course of this one. Just great combinations within their ultimates. Just their regular play as far as their utility goes. This team has got it all together, man.
WK5. I mean, if that's week 5, that is how much they've been grinding absolutely through these teams. So round 1 goes over and cracks one open against the Phoenix. Let's check out those final hits. Of course, 14 of them picked up by WK5. Some fantastic work. Yep. And you're definitely seeing some of the work that has come through. This is a team that definitely is living and breathing by the meta. Namor recently got that damage and speed increases by their key Trident of Neptune, as well as the Wrath of the Seven Seas, which spawns a lot more of those monstros. So this is a team that has done their homework. I expect some key switch-ups out of Elon, but I mean, they did what they could, but it was a tidal wave from Ottawa.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and quite literally with Namor and the value that they got out of them, V-Striker was deadly in that way. But a lot of the strategists were the ones that really were the core of this. Not only were they active as far as heals go, but they were also being able to be mobile enough, right? With Rocket Raccoon just not being caught out to dry. Their positioning seemed a lot more sound. They weren't having to play on point because they were pushing up and forcing and causing all sorts of issues for Elon. They had no idea how to swing around it. It can be a little bit more difficult, especially when you have open space and that last point specifically, but that happened even in the first point there for domination. I think, obviously a change in map type will certainly serve them favors. Convergence will be a little bit better for them, in my opinion, especially if you get that Luna Snowback potential. I like what maybe they'd be able to do because they fell pretty early in fights, and that was kind of surprising to me.
I do wonder if that's going to end up being that linchpin of like what one they pick first, because if they want to prioritize bringing in the strategists, making sure that if they live and breathe by some of that wider AoE type of healing, especially off the Luna Snow, they're going to have to commit to that. So it depends on where they kind of saved between a few of those different picks. So I wonder how much of that does play into the map mode combo pick, but Convergence. All right. So let's walk away from what was domination. Bear, everyone has to walk into the same square. It's like, all right, or square, circle, shapes. I left them in kindergarten, but everyone has to go to somewhere, right? So Convergence, you got to start with that. Then you go to a cart. It's hybrid in case you've never, seen it in this capacity. Welcome to Marvel Rivals. So we're going to go to Jalia, by the way. So we're going to go to a lot of, Wakandan backdrop. It's one of my favorites, by the way. So what, in terms of mobility, needs to either be changed up, or what do you just want to see? That makes a lot of sense going to this map.
I don't know if you can really ditch the rocket here. It makes a whole lot of sense. I'm kind of surprised if we can take even a step further back that Elon even chose Hall of Djala to begin with. It's very open, the same way that you saw in the last map. So really, uOttawa was probably licking their chops right now saying, hey, we'll go right back to a very similar comp. For Elon to switch it up, I would like to see a little bit more zoning, perhaps. I know for a fact that you don't really want to rely on something that you can't really trust and haven't practiced and haven't seen over the course of this season, but you have to be able to kind of adjust accordingly. Throwing in an extra strategist to make sure that you're sustained a little bit further in fights. That's certainly what I'm looking for, at least to try to find a little bit more success here.
I've seen some teams that when they go for full defense, especially press long lane all the way up into like an initial push. It depends on if it's escort or otherwise, but they sometimes go kind of a, old GOAT standard. They go 3-3. They hit the strategist, they hit the vanguard, but they leave the duelist behind. So I don't think that's going to exactly be where we stand right here. That could be where we start trekking if they get directly to a cart, if they can unlock it, Bear, and might be able to move their way forward. But one thing that I kind of want to see them, at least I want to see the side of Elon run away from. I think it was a last second attempt get rid of the Punisher, please. Like the dude is retiring. His ult's just not going to come around as often. The turret's just not going to be the right way. I don't think it fits. But you also saw 2 big strat bans off of Ultron, which is very good about being able to find tight AoE healing, especially on mitigation, and that Luna Snow. So I wonder how that will play into these bans as we go to our next map.
And it's very viable too. I talked about mobility, but you don't have to necessarily have that, especially when you're lacking a little bit of firepower too. Sometimes the reason you're losing fights isn't because you don't have the heals, but more so because you're not able to find a flank and be able to, eliminate their strategists. So a Mantis can really handle both equations. You get a little bit more damage. On top of that, you also have that anti-dive, which was frustrating you when you were up close and personal. So you get that end of the deal. In addition, you get some damage boost for the rest of your team, so it's kind of like a 3-in-1 situation. I think she's viable to play now at this point in time. She even got a little bit of love on her ultimate as well as far as extra health goes, so I don't hate a Mantis here, maybe as a switch up for this Elon team, but we'll have to find out here as the bans begin.
Yeah, we could find a Guardian Revival coming through. You've got Mantis holding hands with Adam Warlock and everyone being brought back, and that is a first big pick. They recognized that there was a need to get rid of the shield that was stopping their Emma Frost. So goodbye, Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange, he's going to take a sit. He's going to take a seat. But they're still prioritizing saying no to any of the Cloak and Dagger. A lot of strategists just being left on the wayside.
I think Ottawa's studied up on what Elon likes to play, because that was a very targeted pick here. They're going to save that. So now both teams obviously know each other extremely well, because the Jet that was banned from Elon last time is now saved there from Ottawa. So we see that kind of back and forth play, and Elon's going to give it right back to them, as you see the Magneto will be saved on their end.
Okay, so now we get to see how that shifts and to where people kind of favor. And Magneto makes sense. He's a walking brute force, just kind of wall. Also, he's huge for mitigation from those mega ultimates, if you can be able to store it into the meteor. Luna Snow, Elon said, no, you're just not getting it. You're not going to have the fishy, K-pop idol combo. That's just not going to happen. So they take the Rocket Raccoon out of the equation. That makes a lot of sense. You don't have all that extra damage boost. The mitigation goes away, and it's kind of a null point anyway when you have a moving comp that you're supposed to have on this map.
Yeah, no more spamming the heals. I get it. So Elon said enough of that for sure. Star-Lord going to be saved this time. Again, we're kind of seeing that back and forth play of like, listen, we're going to go ahead and lock that in, make sure you get a little bit of a reinsurgence. As you can see, Hill Monkeyman's very stoked about this one. Elon Gold, we're waiting for their lock-in here too. So they will not be playing Cloak and Dagger. They will not be playing Rocket Raccoon. So that eliminates your strategist composition as well. But they're going to save a DPS there in Spider-Man. We saw that last time too.
Yeah, they were definitely trying to immediately make use of the big kidnap that you can get. You can get a lot of damage, especially aerial-based amazing combos off of Spider-Man. So if they're going to try and work him, if Magneto's here, you can bet your bottom dollar that Emma Frost is probably going to get picked as well, so they can get that team up with them. Wolverine being taken away, pretty smart. Doesn't have the Jean Grey unlocked and available for them just yet. Still, he also got a little bit of anti-love as they decrease the duration for his Feral Leap, as well as the overall cooldown got increased to have to use it. So kind of a non-factor, but he's very strong if they're trying to take away the pick potential for that back line. And Human Torch, get rid of him. No Human Torch.
I feel like those last two bans are just like, all right, now who else do we not want to deal with for the rest of it? Like, it's just not very specific. It seems like a very just kind of an overarching, hey, let's just get rid of these. But yeah, you get a little bit more damage time there with the Wolverine too. I know the cooldown certainly hurts to add that extra 3 seconds, but to have that extra bit of time that you get on it certainly causes more damage. So off the board, they will go as well. And all we're left to you now will be the map choice within this convergence side. So we'll kind of take a peek at where we're going this time around. Hill Monkeyman, like we mentioned, Hall of Jalia will be the map. We'll see and showcase both of these teams in action. So let's go down to the map now.
It's very smart, actually, and when I think about it, Ottawa taking the Human Torch off of the field, because there is a new team-up alongside Spider-Man for the Ever-Burning Bond, which empowers Spider-Man to be able to have an Inferno Blast. So if you get rid of the man himself, and he's the anchor, he gets a 5% damage buff, then you're just not going to be able to use that combination. So maybe some of that was coming up, but they definitely wanted Ultron, and that means that we actually have the protocol unlocked between Iron Man and Ultron. So that team up is there. You've got the Illusion team up for the Magneto as well as the Emma Frost. So be prepared to see double.
Gonna have to rely on that name or in the Hulk to really be able to knock down some of the flyer comp that we're seeing from Elon Gold. So they're gonna be very responsible here early, as you already see a bit of that dive back to guard the rest of their team as well with the shields and want to be able to break through it. But a lot of open space for this Hulk. They're eating a lot of the damage that could have otherwise come through from Elon, but instead they're getting really close to death. Ottawa's playing out a whole lot of damage.
Get a lot of healing that's also coming through. They reworked Jeff just a little bit, so those big bubbles are a great escape route here for your Incredible Hulk, but he might, in fact, just hit the dirt, and so there's going to be the scientist as Bruce Banner comes through, so now they're fine from this upper angle. They're recognizing they're able to push this Ottawa group all the way back. That is 2 huge picks as you get rid of both of them. WK5 out of the way. Jeff is trying to be able to say, it's Jeff, and get them the heck out of Dodge. I don't think they're going to survive this one, but they're going down with the ship.
Yeah, typically you want to just be able to toss and get back into the fight here. I'm not sure it'll matter much because Elon is certainly running the map. I said his convergence could be a little bit better for this team, and certainly they've showed up in that first fight. Zach Jump will clean up the loose change, as we like to say, and they'll be able to cap this point with ease and be able to march the payload forward. So I really did like the damage mitigation there. It allowed the Iron Man to just kind of walk in open space up in the air and cause some damage. We don't see that very frequently.
Yeah, none at all. And this Stark protocol is just really so strong, especially. You're able to find so much extra damage, and it also increases that encephalo ray, and it becomes a nano ray, and that creates so much extra healing for your group. So Elon actually has a great concept right now to walk with. Now, your Iron Man is down. You also are trying to find a way to now begin moving this cart, but they moved them way down this lane. This is that long, long dog leg to have to get your way through. So they're losing their DPS, their duelists, kind of staggered times right now, Bear, and Ottawa's taking advantage of the lack of damage that's coming at them.
Yeah, that Emma combination here with the Magneto is trying to be able to at least dive into what is Ottawa. You see that mirrored on the other side as well, is working extremely well, and that's why. So you'll see again a couple of kills and engagements first off of the meteor, and then followed it up with that spike. So that's a good combination there. You love to see them perform, and then look as Iron Man does the rest. Rizzy gets in there and he makes some damage and makes their name known as well.
Look, there may be some nerfing that's going on with Iron Man and his pulse cannon, and it takes longer for him to get him. They added 600 points for the ult cost to come back up, but the dude still hurts, so you can't just ignore him. He is flying through the sky, and the Phoenix is absolutely burning through these checkpoints. They unlocked the midway mark, and we are zooming through this convergence right now, Bear.
Yeah, the Rizzy, the R in that stands for really, really easy. That's what he wanted me to look like, honestly. I mean, it's such a deadly combination. And again, Ultron with a little bit of the nerfs, specifically to the shields that they divvy out. So to see them be able to find a little bit more, be able to find value regardless has certainly been refreshing to see. Elon is having a number with Ottawa, who's just having to be able to establish anything as far as heals go to sustain these fights.
And this is also a dangerous position because you have the Psionic Seduction. They could pop that immediately with the now Nano Ray, and that will be able to heal everyone through. You're going to have the Goddess of Death. They can be able to get any big impacts here. It will be huge. They're going to use that shield to kind of stand behind him. They burn through her form. So that doesn't really get any major value otherwise to make them step back. This is a zigzag room heading to the Hall of Meditation. If they're going to be able to get them pushed off of this cart, it might be a big move. They're going to use that Psionic Seduction, and eventually they at least get rid of one. That's Magneto that eventually drops. So they've gone away from the game plan, and they're falling straight into the hands of Elon. It's looking like they're going to stand strong, gather everything for the meteor. Can they even get a single pick off of this one? No dice.
Yeah, the Invisible Woman with a great job to step in that moment to lay out the invisible boundary to be able to escape them in time from the meteor. I'm not sure it would have caused us a whole lot of damage, but it is a step in the right direction. Elon extremely low in a couple of different ways, and of course they will drop first. The Emma Frost to follow next after the Invisible Woman, and Ottawa finally able to get some momentum here as we stop right here this chokehold.
This is a tough chokehold to be able to get through because as soon as this card is abandoned at this archway, it's so tough to be able to recover. You are going to go back over into the turret. The damage is reduced, not just for the spell duration that is directly on the ground whenever they land, but as well for every projectile that is pumping out through it. So that's a fantastic defensive mark to put up that turret. And with this Magneto, is just absorbing everything that's coming at them. They are still playing from a direct on angle, nothing of a flank. You're going to try and get the amazing Spider-Man, be able to get as many of those web slings done from the backline as they can, and if they go over in the top, they're gonna try and start getting the kidnaps going. They have that Magneto M-bomb. Here comes the meteor. A couple will drop. Half the field gone. Ottawa out of the way.
Yeah, Newsy was a little bit too late to come across and drop that, but it was the only time that they were able to manage it. So it will be an easy walkthrough here and plenty of time left on the clock as well. That Spider-Man was such a bully there in deep. Zach did a great job to mitigate that kind of peskiness, right? Pepper consistently. And that allowed the rest of the team to work around it. And that's why we saw them basically walk through Ottawa, who had that showing in domination. And suddenly the tables have turned.
Reezy and Woodsy showing up to be able to get really this team just kind of moving in the right direction. 6 picks, like at least in terms of final hits between these guys. Six kills is just not going to do it there. Fantastic sustain, and you had some great healing overall done between both Josh as well as Casual, showing exactly why that Ultron was gotten rid of and then prioritized in the first place. It works so well in a snowball concept, especially when you have the drones able to just give so much kind of perimeter healing. It works for Ultron, and maybe he doesn't share as nicely, but it works for his quote-unquote friends in his team as well.
Okay, take a look at Korean here. That does make the move to the Mantis, and I'll tell you why. The Flyer comp was very successful because of the distraction we saw from Zach Jump. Now, Zach Jump is going to make the move from Spider-Man over to Hela. So that being said, you have to be able to take matters into your own hand, especially when you have that experience here with Arena Fighters. So for that reason, that's why we see them over to Mantis, because you can get that damage. So basically like a glorified DPS that has strategist capabilities and heal abilities, plus be able to kind of boost some of that damage to make sure the Flyers are out of the air, then be able to deal with that Invisible Woman, who also had some very timely things. I mean, strategists sometimes don't get the love they deserve, and I think, Casual Soup was a big part of that run as well. We'll see if Elon is as effective here on the defense.
You also have the Illusion team up on either side, but they've committed into having the Star-Lord alongside the Mantis. Mantis is going to be some really good healing, but they're not going to have the Guardian Revival. They did not pick the Adam Warlock up. He is the anchor for this team, so that is just not going to be there. So everything is about just pure output. They're going to play immediately from this high ground. They commit to getting up onto this top level, into this top corner, and seeing if anyone will go down first, getting very low. Ultron plays kind of weak whenever you have to make him retreat into that line. Reezy falling out, and this should be their pick to peel. Striker's still up from it as well. Ottawa's going to hold this point for a bit longer, and it looks like they're about to leap down.
WK5's finally finding some value. You said leave Punisher on the side, and I don't blame you. I think that's a fair statement. But that being said, right on cue, they're going to fall, unfortunately for them. So V-Striker had targeted them. So great flank there. And we'll see Elon trying to hold off on this. V-Striker tries to dive in as well to cause a little bit more damage, at least steer them clear of the point. And I think they did that temporarily, but now that they've gotten the numbers, they'll bounce in, especially with the Invisible Boundary active.
Now, playing from beyond the invisible boundary, they should be able to get a lot of extra damage. They're trying to use that quick ray just to get everyone forward. Now, as you use the Meteor M, it doesn't find any pick, but it is a active threat. He's going to be on his last leg with that shield, getting body choked and slammed. It's Emma on Emma action. You don't have to pay a subscription for this one, folks.
And take it out of the sky too. V-Striker was able to get it, but you see the Psionic Seduction is able to take care of two, as Korean will fall too. Your leader off the board. V-Striker very low, and it's just a matter of time before they clean up the rest. So Elon certainly making waves, not only on the attack. I said, is the defense going to be the same? They did not get that first tick at all, and they're already down to 2 minutes left in this clock here.
They could full hold. That would be a great comeback, just telling them that they were trying things out. When it came to that domination, it would be such a kickback to be able to take it to the GGs and really take this entire concept to that next level. Now, that will let GGs know out of Ottawa, maybe they got to switch things around. Trying to go full on Living Legend here with V-Strikers, playing it from the sky, trying to be able to lay down some damage. The Spidey's already gone back to Brooklyn. He's getting another one. Invisible Woman is already out, and he's cleaning the yard of them. Elon is suppressed and laid to rest. Ottawa will finally bust open the site. They've got to get the last third. Cart will come online.
And I like the fact that V-Striker, instead of being able to chase that down, knows that they had managed that job to chase everybody back. You got the first couple of kills. Don't get greedy. That's a sign of experience here within these types of games, and why uOttawa looks for them as a leader. They were struggling to get this point. Credit to Elon Gold for being able to hold off for long, so they were really able to kind of bite into that clock. Remember, they ran the table as far as the attack goes, so I think they did enough to be able to, at least if they can manage a mediocre hold here through the first and second points, they should be just fine.
We also have Meteor M and now the Psionic Seduction online for Ottawa. They should be able to hold this for a while as they push them back up the steps. Elon Gold, Reezy committed the Pulse Cannon just a little bit ago. I don't know if they were going for a lifetime hero play or if they believe they can just get it back a little bit quicker, but that could have cleared this corner and have really established a longer point. Now, you do have less than 3 minutes to go. That's plenty of time to be able to make this long dog leg, but you're basically fighting a war on two fronts. You have to go up this main lane, and you have a hot flank that comes from around this building. Same thing can be said for Elon Gold. If they start losing folks, they do get rid of WK5, and now they're starting to feel that as way, so they're trying to be able to use that Meteor as a defensive point. They will get one pick.
Yeah, it's Uzi wanted to back out into a safe spot. Unfortunately, got tucked in behind that statue, so he wasn't able to do much with it. Now, Meteor for Meteor. Here's an opportunity, too, but they only caused a little bit of damage on the far side. They wanted to use it as a spacing tool, but no space given up at all.
You got the Cephalo Ray, Nano Ray available and online if they really want to be able to save everyone. So you have two great defensive ultimates that could be used back-to-back here for the Phoenix. Good old Zach going backliner. It's him versus the Star-Lord. I think I've seen this movie before here, Bear. And he's going to face off against everyone from Ottawa. He's going to go web slinging and make for the escape.
Yeah, fair point. You know, we talked about not being greedy, and there's no reason to do that. Just be able to regroup here. With Elon, like we mentioned, they did a good job on the attack. No need to really get greedy here. You're just trying to stall, and they were able to gain point access as well to be able to march that backwards downstairs. And this is a very tough spot for the point to get to as well. We talked about a spot there in the chokehold, on the second point, but this is really a tough spot and tough area as well to try to break through.
Final judgment online. WK5 is threatening everybody, and he says he's got a Gatling gun filled with bullets ready to melt through them. There goes their Ultron, and there goes one of their lifelines as they will push through and about lock in this second checkpoint with 80 seconds. Now make it 250 as they begin this long march to somewhere. Bear, that's not a lot of time, but they're getting through.
Well, it was a little bit easier than I had made it sound, I suppose. They were able to just kind of march it from that stair point all the way up. The uOttawa got some traction. It did take a lot of couple of ultimates in order to get there. So just left on the table. Looks like they'll be getting. They've already got the legend back. So V-Striker was able to force a whole lot of damage the last time around, and especially if you can take those flyers out, maybe be able to swing around and get Casual Soup down on the ground as well with that Invisible Woman. You can find some value.
They're hoping to be able to get that lock-in. In case you've never seen the Galactic Legend, well, the man is going to be dangerous, especially if he auto-locks you from the sky.
Ooh.
But look at the cleanup duty that's happening. Reezy is finding power, finding life, and finding a way to start wiping away Ottawa. Now, same thing has happened with Jack as they begin to retreat. They don't want to overextend, but they love being able to push them all the way back to the spawn. Clock is starting to tick. It's getting a little bit louder. They want to make this one easy for their strategists. They want to stay from these off angles. You've got a lot of defensive ultimates that can really stand their ground right here for Elon.
Yeah, the reason I was confused about this map pick and why Elon would pick it, I didn't know about their flyer comp. It's working extremely well. Josh and Reezy, gotta credit those two for being able to go back and forth with that one. So Meteor is going to be active here too. We'll see if they can get it to the back line. They were pushed out before they were able to do anything.
That prompted them to answer in kind. You get the Psionic Seduction, and they're getting everyone to walk to the Queen. Josh ends up falling out, so your Ultron strategist is gone. They're trying to get to the room, the meditation room, so you can be able to make it around this corner. You have about a minute 10 on the clock. Everyone fighting on multiple fronts. Final judgment, and the thing, guess what? Ding, ding, they're out. Trying to be able to get back onto that point as they use that Galactic Legend and quickly moving this Panther forward.
Oh my goodness, yeah, they swung that corner and they got a whole face full of Emma Frost in Ultron as well to cause so much damage. Zach jump on the flank as well to cause even more damage and push Ottawa back consistently. But now Elon's going to have to go back behind this choke point to try to re-engage here. But they will be able to get this in tandem and the clock down to 36 seconds. So even if they push to this point, it's still going to be extremely difficult.
Clobber in time, and the Emma Frost ult will come up very, very soon. Ottawa with 2 big Vanguard ults should be able to push this line forward, step over step. Might be able to get ourselves tied. There's not going to be a lot of time left, but Elon Gold is just missing. They are completely MIA to the Room of Meditation, and this one should be able to push them over as they complete and yeet the Phoenix back. We'll be tied up. That's a lot of time missing, though.
Yeah, you're able to get a minute back because it's under that minute. So luckily for them, there's that. But you add the extra time on the clock the other way as well. As you see, Elon will have 3 minutes, 32 seconds. It's going to force Ottawa to do what they weren't able to do last time they were on the defense here on this map specifically, and that's be able to hold. Then I did see the switch to the thing by Moon Knight, so don't get confused. That's the name of the player, not the actual hero. But I thought that was a great switch. Not originally. That one moment was certainly unfortunate as they ran into a whole lot of damage, but when they were in space, whenever they were able to catch some attraction, WK5 was with the Punisher, that's when they were able to find value and be able to strike into it too. So, and if they come right back at you with the with that flyer comp, that's gonna be able to knock you out of the air with that new battle blitz that we were talking about prior to this stream kicking off.
This is actually the first time that we're going to be seeing, and if they decide to hold to it, and it looks like they are, Squirrel Girl. Squirrel Girl also kind of got shifted around between the teams that they like to play with. They are inside of the same composition alongside both of Ultron and Iron Man. They're part of the Stark Protocol, so they get a little bit of extra damage and they get a little bit of extra health to that same regard. So Reezy playing the fine line to try things out here, especially because their team needs to be able to tie this one up. Now they're going to be playing defensively. They got to force Ottawa to come up those steps and find their way through all the damage that's going to be laid out. And they're going to be going into pretty standard composition. But hella, that's going to be a lot of burst damage. And Reezy can do the same thing as they're aiming to snipe them from that high ground.
They're already going to get rid of the bridge because they have this range, so you don't typically see that from the defensive side because it creates a bit of a choke point there. But when you have the range and the Squirrel Girl, who got a new skin, by the way, that Venom one looks sick. Not rocking it here in this one, but feel good, look good, play good, right?
Oh, yeah, and I'm pretty sure everyone is loving the Squirrel Girl look. I've seen far too many of them, and Reezy immediately, they're going to go check out their skin packs, and they're going to be put right back to spawn. So Elon has seen this one really kind of just taken away from their grip. Third of this point might immediately get locked up. Hella, goodbye, hella good, as Ottawa will unlock this one in a flash. No issues, as it looks like this card's coming.
Yeah, fantastic cap here. Certainly no time off that clock too, and the Punishers they allowed to just kind of sit back here and chill because of you're looking at her right now, the Emma Frost with that ability to not only block wall-wise, but then catch a whole lot of damage before you're really in trouble. Go diamond form, which sure got a little bit of a knockdown, a bit of a nerf, but certainly still getting some love here, especially in ranked, and as you can see here in this summer tournament by NECC.
Elon Gold needs to regroup. They are getting snowballed right now by the GGs of Ottawa. Everything onto this site, it is full overtime all the time, and that Meteor M is going to make life even more compact. Woodsy's able to at least find WK5, the Punisher out of the way, trying to be able to clear the board yet again. That's another one, double kill, trying for that triple as they're combining between them, putting the Panther and on a pedestal and just clearing the board. A triple for Woodsy. Can he get his squad moving forward? Casual Soup should be able to clean up the West, and this is going to be Ottawa. I think they're being put in the backpack. So this is about as far as they got. 31 extra meters after the capture of the point. That is going to be where the score stands. Either Ottawa full holds from that distance bear, or Elon Gold is able to tie up the series.
So your gold though. I like that for Ottawa, which is just hold Elon to that. Don't let him cap. Yes, easier said than done, especially for 3.5 minutes. But when you have a goal in mind, you'll be surprised what you can manage, especially how Ottawa showed up in that dominant. Now, not so much the last time that they had to hold. So we'll check that out and see. The thing didn't quite get as much value as you wanted to on that attack side, but certainly defensively, that's where we saw them shine. And it looks like they'll probably lock right back into it too. We'll see if the Mantis is a change from last time too. So they're bringing in a slightly different comp, still showing the likes of a Emma Frost as we expected to kind of continue in that front. So Ottawa will show a similar look here. I'm not sure if they've done enough from a comp perspective, so we'll see if their mentality changes in order to try and hold off Elon here.
got rid of the Ultron to get rid of the Stark protocol. So they're just going to be trusting in Reezy for those big pulse cannon moments. Same thing if Zach is able to kind of backline them. This is going to be very sneaky. They have the time to kind of waste to do this maybe a few times, Bear. I wonder if the Mantis will end up kind of staying. They do have the Illusion team up still between Magneto and Emma Frost. On the other side of things, that the thing's going to stay. Moon Knight was looking very specifically successful when it came to going clobbering out there. So don't disregard how that one could be impactful depending on that choice. And so this one's starting to look a little bit more level, and WK5 is sticking with that Punisher. He's like, you know what? The turret's not the biggest deal in the world. I'm still on my bad boy, and they're still running into my guns.
And somehow not expecting the flank here on the side as Zach Jump will kind of kick off the action to go through that right doorway versus the rest of the team following through on the left side as you see them already. The Punisher's going to set up here and cause a lot of damage as a lot of them are grouped up. But you see the swing in here in Joshua already making waves there on the Mantis, able to cause the damage and get the first pick. But Zach Jump going to fall in tandem, so a back and forth trade.
Yeah, you don't want to go jump straight into the deliverance, Spidey boy. That is a shotgun, all right? Not going to have that happen. Reezy is also going to be receiving some of that same juju from out of WK5. So this splash of the waves upon the cliff, not looking great. Zach Jump eventually does come back. WK5 taken off the board. Now you get rid of them. Striker is a different problem. So that's exactly why Zach Jump has gone hunting all the way in this back line to try and get at least rid of that living legend there. Getting GG's out of the way. Starting to work on that site as well. So this is looking a little bit more promising for Elon Gold to unlock this one with time.
Yeah, and GG's might be the case here as well, as they're able to distract quite a bit. Emma Frost working in tandem with the Magneto. They will just step up first, and point is capped, and they don't have to travel very far here, Monkey Man, as they kind of settle into this one. It should be a pretty straightforward collection, especially when you have these 2 minutes to get it done.
One good team fight, and this one's done. That's what Ottawa knows. They want to be able to keep this one pretty and stay perfect here and go 2-0 into the series. But Elon Gold, they are here for the long haul. No ties will be found in this one. It's win or lose. Moon Knight does get rid of Reezy in action and in opposite. Moon Knight goes down. 3 ultimates online. That's going to be your meteor that does hit at least on the spot. Going to get slept on immediately, the site. They're going to have that psionic seduction. Do they use it in opposite? They have one to be able to protect themselves. The final judgment into the invisible boundary as everyone's receiving a cavalcade of bullets. The pulse cannon, it lands yard.
It's chaos, and final judgment might actually be the difference here, and that's why we're seeing them tear into it as we speak. So uOttawa finding a little bit of traction, but they got to stay in on this fight, and they don't have a whole lot of tankiness now. But right when I say that, they're able to jump in just in time. Moon Knight, aka the Thing, but they're going to be drained as the strategist fell in tandem one after another. This should be Elon with a quick cleanup. The rest of the crew falls, and sure enough, it'll be Elon to draw even here in the series 1-1.
What an amazing combo. Spidey goes slinging and everyone goes down. Elon Gold will tie up our series. We're going 1-1 into it. And you know what? It was looking a little bit topsy-turvy. They were trying it hither and thither. Would they be able to get to that back line? Rezi as well as Zach Jump with the Spidey and with the Iron Man. That Ultron pick that was banned in that first map there very much came alive here in this one.
Oh my goodness, did it. The combination to kick it off with the Flyers was something that created a need to change for Ottawa. And by the time they were able to make those adjustments, Elon made the adjustment further. They seemed to step ahead this time around, which was a little crazy, seeing as they got pretty much dominated on the domination side of things in map 1. So great bounce back, exactly what you're looking for. And the 50 bomb from Woodsy is absolutely unbelievable from that Magneto. You want them to be able to set it up and to be able to get that tank going. Was absolutely fantastic. I mean, their kills column was just absolutely ridiculous.
That means that they were getting a lot of that mag cannon, just that right-click feature working so well. They had shields up on pretty much everyone, and they were always in the fray. We got to see a lot of meteors come through, and that's exactly what we're going to see if neither of these teams decide to do some banning of it into the next game. Isn't that right? So going into this next one, I think we're going over to Escort. So if anything has really kind of screamed out to me about a team that seems successful when on the move, Elon's definitely kind of showing their good colors this time around.
They are, yeah, and they geared up for the point extremely well, so I'm wondering if that'll convert over to Convoy. But we'll have to find out as we are going to take a quick break here, but don't go anywhere. The NECC Marvel Rivals Summer Tournament Playoffs Division 3 returns after this quick break.
Lost.
I can't breathe.
Hey, I can't breathe. I'm so upset. I can't breathe. Stop. You knock on wood so they go to heaven. It's like a lucky. Hey, get the stick.
Yeah.
Hey, do you the meat stick?
Yeah, I got it.
Hey, just hold tight for a second. They're moving the casket. Just hold tight.
Yeah, that's no worries. I got it.
Oh, what an awesome day for a pump, dude.
Yeah, I gotta take it easy. Doc says if I exert myself, I will die.
You overexert yourself, you will die.
I'll tell you what, you finish the workout, all these could be yours. That looks good. A little bit of honey ham for the ham. Get after it, and that's your, no, get after it, and that's your treat. Hey, do the exercise, do the work, then you get the reward. That's how this works, man. You gotta give it max effort, maximum effort. That's what I'm talking about, baby. Big hams. Make it work, those hams. Work 'em. Putting in the work. Yeah, baby. Yes. Dude, this is a spicy workout. Gotta make it worth it. Building the beef and bringing home the bacon, baby. I'm loving it. Teriyaki is just about within your reach. Come on, get you some. Come on. Ooh, ooh. Maximum effort. Maximum effort. You're there. You're almost there.
That's probably worth it.
What do you make of this up here? Just showed up in the yard a couple days ago.
Dog been digging in here?
I don't think so, dude. That goes way down in there. Seriously, did you just lose your meat stick?
Yeah.
Oh, no. There's something in there, dude. Just leave it.
Are you kidding me?
We'll just head to the house. Just leave it.
The hell with that.
Oh, yeah, there's something in there. Ah!
Want one?
Thank you.
It was worth it.
Oh, man, this is incredible.
Wow.
Huh?
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
It is pretty cool. Hey, man, grab me a meat stick. I think I can reach it if I just... A little more. Just let me go a little. I can't. Just a little more. I almost got it. Careful! Oh, God. No. Come on, just reach. Reach. Just grab my hand. I can't hold it. Grab my hand.
Give me the meat stick. This other hand's closer. The one with the stick is... Oh. What am I supposed to say?
It doesn't matter. He's dead. He ain't listening to you anyway.
I'm hungry.
No. Put it away. I can't watch it. Oh, crap. Just reach in. You gotta pull it. Just grab it. Just take it out of his hand. You just can't. What do you mean you can't?
He won't let go.
What do you mean he won't let go? He's dead.
Help me. Get in there. No, just hold on.
Make him let go of it. No, I got you covered. Just go in for a hug. Go and get on in there. It's a bad loss. Yeah, hug him up. Just reach, hug him up.
He's breathing. On the other side.
Go.
I can't.
Just-
I can't do it.
Help me, Lord. Help me get over this loss.
I can't breathe.
Hey, I can't breathe. I'm so upset. I can't breathe. Stop. You knock on wood so they go to heaven. It's like a lucky. Hey, get the stick.
Yeah.
Hey, do you the meat stick?
Yeah, I got it.
Hey, just hold tight for a second. They're moving the casket. Just hold tight.
Yeah, it's no worries. I got it.
Oh, what an awesome day for a pump, dude.
Yeah, I gotta take it easy. Doc says if I exert myself, I will die.
You overexert yourself, you will die.
I'll tell you what, you finish the workout, all these could be yours. That looks good. A little bit of honey ham for the ham. Get after it, and that's your, no, get after it, and that's your treat. Hey, do the exercise, do the work, then you get the reward. That's how this works, man. You gotta give it max effort, maximum effort. That's what I'm talking about, baby. Big hams. Make it work, those hams. Work 'em. Putting in the work. Yeah, baby. Yes. Dude, this is a spicy workout. Gotta make it worth it. Building the beef and bringing home the bacon, baby. I'm loving it. Teriyaki is just about within your reach. Come on, get you some. Come on. Ooh, ooh. Maximum effort. Maximum effort. You're there. You're almost there.
That's so worth it.
What do you make of this up here? Just showed up in the yard a couple days
Is a
ago.
dog been digging in there?
I don't think so, dude. That goes way down in there. Seriously, did you just lose your meat stick?
Yeah.
Oh, no. There's something in there, dude. Just leave it.
Are you kidding me?
We'll just head to the house. Just leave it.
The hell with that.
Ah, yeah, there's something in there. Ah!
Want one?
Thank you.
It was worth it.
Oh, man, this is incredible.
Wow.
Huh?
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
It is pretty cool.
Welcome back to the NECC Marvel Rivals Summer Tournament Playoffs, Division 3 quarterfinals between uOttawa Esports versus Elon Gold. And we want to remind you that next week on July 22nd, we're going to be able to see the semifinals actions from these three divisions. In addition to that, and of course, the finals is currently scheduled for the July 29th. So excited to see some more action. But Monkey Man, on this one, we've seen a very close one as Elon Gold, they got punched in the mouth early in map 1, but map 2 is a whole different story.
It's all about how you counterpunch. It's all about how you show your true colors. Now, the thing that we saw is that there may be some pick dependencies for their hero pools. So will that stand true going into Escort as our midway of this first to 3 battle? So you saw a lot of this. All right, we had some Star-Lord, we got some Punisher. All right, so Punisher ended up actually being pretty decent if you didn't have to rely completely onto the turret. But when it ultimately came down to it, you got your arm and you got your Spidey. So it's about taking out that backline and being sneaky deaky and fast about that. I wonder if any of that's going to shift around, because with the mobility that we got to work with here, Bear, some of this actually may stick around.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, we haven't seen a whole lot of success in the dive side of things per se. So those flyers were working very hard. You saw some Bucky get some love as well earlier in that one, but we'll see if that continues on the convoy side, which will certainly be a little bit more like that convergence side, which might play into the hands of Elon Gold, who looked a lot better there on the convergence side. But that being said, because uOttawa lost, they'll be able to get their map choice in, and it will be Spider Islands that we head to next. So Spider Islands on the board. So regardless of Elon being able to punch back, though, it was extremely close. So keep that in consideration too. But I love Spider Islands. It's always been one of my favorites.
I'm wondering if we're going to see an immediate Wolverine ban. Now, he was kind of banned off of the end rip by Elon whenever we went ultimately into our pick ban of our hero mode combo. But he's dangerous, throwing people off this island, if you will. So some of that may come up to play. Ultron feels like a hot ticket to get out of Dodge, but it also may be a hot ticket to keep. If you are Elon, they left him up kind of for grabs whenever they were going into their first map of domination. Don't know if he would have been kind of that main sustain going into that map combo, but that seems to be a linchpin for success. Even with that tiny little flex with Mantis, they still went right back to him at the end of the game.
They did. I like to see that as well. uOttawa was known to really be a step ahead when we talked about the domination map, so it makes sense that they're going into the future for this one, as Tokyo 2099 will be the play once again. So let's go ahead and check out the bands here and see who they lock in for this one too. Elon Gold, who are you suspecting we might see here again? The Mantis was affected both ways. Does she make a reappearance?
I think Mantis is going to be someone that you don't touch. It's kind of like that key strategist that just kind of stays out there. I feel like Mantis, I feel like Invisible Woman will stay there. So will they get used? Invisible Woman, most heartedly, yes. That is a great kind of change of the game, like a slight kind of 25% weaponizing her ultimate at any given time. So I think she stays ultimately. So do they finally get rid of the Spider-Man? Are they able, because they're making a choice between the Ultron and like the Spider-Man as kind of their starting weapon, because you're seeing Rezi also kind of flip between things. So first ban out the gate, Elon Gold. They're going to get rid of something that we've seen before, because Punisher was punishing. Oh, nope. They're going to keep getting rid of the Doctor.
Yeah, getting rid of Doctor Strange here. It wasn't the Luna Snow, which I'm kind of surprised about. That seems to be a very, very common one for them as well. The Magneto on the other side, so we're not going to see very shield-heavy comps here. Instead of the Brawl, we might be getting a little bit of something new. Magneto got a little bit of love, and now we're seeing a lock-in for Wolverine. We might see their appearance for the first time.
I'm telling you, Wolverine is McNasty on this one. You let him free roam and it's done. So this is going to be tough. And exactly why you need Spider-Man to kind of go against them. Kidnapping for kidnapper. See if they can get each other off of the island, possibly. Elon Gold, this is about that midway mark where they have been locking away Luna Snow. I wonder if that continues to be where they want. We're already looking at brawlers, and maybe some of that comes to mind because they looked at that Magneto band.
Yeah, 100%. I think that's what they did see. It's Jeff off the board again, which we didn't see a whole lot of. I guess it was banned both ways, both times. So never mind. I guess we won't see Jeff for an extended period of time, especially not in this one. As that'll be the next ban. Elon's also been targeting for the most part as well. So Ottawa, you know they've got a Jeff player somewhere in there. We did see a little bit of love a little bit earlier on, but not a whole lot as the switch off there too. They said no more Iron Man. I am done with those flanks.
That if they're gonna get the Ultron, that Stark Protocol is not happening. So I think that now is gonna have to force them to maybe shift away a little bit. So you're looking at that. Maybe the Human Torch stays on. Ottawa has gotten rid of them as their final ban a couple times. With that Spider-Man, it could be ultra dangerous. This is when that pick comes through. Luna Snow does get locked in because they got rid of the Jeff. Oh, Elon Gold. I feel like you move into the Human Torch here.
I think so as well. It's been banned constantly, but they haven't gotten Cloak and Dagger yet either, so that's huge for them too. I do like that pick a whole lot because Elon's been wanting them for the whole time and Ottawa's been denying. But I like the mind games Ottawa's been playing too. Remember, they locked in the Luna Snow after forcing the hands, not allowing the Iron Man. So I think that's where Ottawa really lost track when Elon got a whole lot of momentum there. That's what put them at the disadvantage in overtime, if you remember.
Yeah, it did. That's very true. So Punisher getting locked away. Okay, I was kind of expecting this to come up somewhere along the way. You're not going to have Rocket, Human Torch. Look, it just makes sense for him to get picked for Elon. One, it's Flames. Like, they're a Phoenix. Like, come on. Because Jean Grey is not available, you go for him right here, right? Two, you have the team up. You're going to be able to find that Inferno Blast alongside your Spidey. And considering that they took away your Iron Man, Human Torch, like, it seems just like the next best thing that you can move to.
Yeah, I totally agree. And Cloak and Dagger is such a good pick here, too. So Elon's certainly going to make use of that one. We haven't gotten to see, so I'm excited to see Cloak and Dagger on there. It's almost guaranteed here at this point. My question is, who ends up playing Cloak and Dagger, which I guess we'll find out here very momentarily as we head to Spider Islands right now for this one to see who can march to map point.
All right, so Reezy's going over instead of being a flyer. They're going to be sticking over to the Psylocke. That's also a stellar pick. It's going to have to kind of be who kills the backline faster between Reezy and Korean MVP, because they're onto the Wolverine. Wolverine, there is a key choke point. If they get past this first kind of this 1-2 90-degree angle of lane, and they move past that first gateway onto the second line, you can just throw people with Feral Leaf right off the map. So gotta be ready for that one. Elon Gold, they're going to try and kick this one off fast.
Yeah, and they'll have the Groot to do it too, to try to separate some of the DPS from the strat. Same with the tanks, actually, the Vanguards rather. So really be able to separate them is a good call. But you have to be active if you're easy here to be able to bounce back and forth. So we see Korean go to work already, tearing through, but it's going to have to bail out of that one in just in time, but not before Reezy falls.
Yeah, that's a lot of focus. They put it onto the tank, and then they bring them to the forward line, and then ultimately they just can't do much. This interior line that Zach Jump is going to have to be dealing with is not as safe of a getaway, especially with the big blades that are hanging out onto those adamantium-style fists alongside Korean. They're going to play straight up into this lane, use those big walls off of Groot to try and at least inch by inch move this ant cart, or this spider cart rather. But as soon as it comes to over that or underneath that bridge, Ottawa can press the advance, and Elon is trapped.
And they're getting so much value, as I don't know if you noticed this, but WK5 actually switched off the DPS to go with Luna Snow, who also gets a whole lot of damage anyways, and the accuracy makes sense. So I like that pick from WK5. Was certainly a difference maker in that first map and had some good moments there on convergence as well. So they get right back to it too to find some early value.
Zach jumps in. 2 can play this game, baby. He's got that armor. Gonna try and survive for as long as he can. He doesn't have any extra life steals, but he does go diving, and he puts a gamma radiated Hulk straight into his fist. That's gonna be some huge pickups. They are playing a triple onto the Vanguard with a couple of strategies to give Striker all they need and all the support possible to land those tridents.
Horn of Proteus #1 to be able to cause that initial damage, but then they pulled out the Horn again and launched it basically the length of that stretch that you see in order to secure that second kill. So I love that a lot. Now you're just seeing kind of 1-for-1 trades, but this is going to play into the defense all day long. So Ottawa's liking where they are currently, although they were pushed back originally for a little bit. They're not hating where their position is at all.
Over and over again, they're just getting kind of rolled out. You have still 2 minutes to go to try and just get this one about halfway. They have not been able to advance really out of their base. This first little hut has been carved down. It'll come back up, but they have just been completely taken away any of that protection. Striker has been untouched. They increased the distance from which you can actually have to deal with all those Neptune Tridents. There's gonna be another Horn of Proteus, and then it goes another one as the tanks are advancing.
Yeah, the Horn didn't land as hard as it did there originally because the Fate of Both Worlds is out and kicking, and that's what's allowing Elon Gold to not only nullify the effects of what could have been, but also be able to march forward too onto point. So they've been doing a great job. Answered 1-for-1 though, as WK will pop theirs, so everybody's still alive in this moment, and you're going to see a whole lot of fighting and not a whole lot of damage happening.
That's a lot of strat ults. You just get the invisible boundary, and you're able to use the cloak and dagger ultimate. Hella is just throwing everything into the dark, seeing what can be able to land. Can't quite get a kill, can't get a pick until now. Then they're starting to roll them down. Ottawa finally falling. They've been standing for a long, long time, but eventually something had to break. Elon Gold getting a little bit too frisky and having to kick them back.
Yeah, it's not as simple as it was last time at Hall of Jalia. So again, Ottawa liking where they were. They caused a whole lot of chaos earlier, which definitely ticked down that clock. But now it's going to be a march forward, because once you get past that original here at Spider Islands, it's pretty easy to kind of march forward to that first point, and sure enough, they'll secure it, and they'll have a couple more minutes on this clock.
That's a massive overextension right there for your Luna Snow. WK5, they know that there's already kind of a turn point where they're eventually going to get that first one down. They see the checkpoint coming up. You also have the speedball that's coming through. That is from the Thing and from Wolverine. That team up is very versatile, especially onto this map if he's going to be utilizing that Feral Leap and get that huge damage buff. But now it's a duel of Adamantium Claws, whose are a little bit sharper. Both the Wolverines will separate and they will pick other targets.
Oh, Woodsy did a great job of bailing out, too. I don't know if you saw, but Elon was in trouble as the MF Frost was in danger. Just popped the diamond form just in time. We got a little bit of help there, too, from Joshua. They were able to swing over in time as well. Horn of Proteus already back up. That's 3 ultimates in the matter of basically no time here on this map already. As the Psionic Seduction doing some work as well. They pull him right into the hands of Beast Striker.
They use all the extra damage that was coming out of the Psionic Seduction, and then they throw that one out. So they're going to have this invisible boundary as well to play from the high corner of this big building. And this is actually a tough place to be able to get around, because remember, you look at that lower boundary right there. You're going to be able to get tossed off of that if you want to go full tilt with that big Infernal Leap. You're going to have a couple of picks. Ottawa's playing basically with what's left in the bag. Elon Gold looks like they're able to sustain.
Yeah, that toss that we've seen, Zach Jump just gets in there fast and furious, and Uzi's been absolutely bullied because of it. We're seeing another jump in by Zach Jump specifically, but V-Striker is going to be able to read that one, throw the horn, and see you later. You're off the map.
You get some berserker damage whenever you land with that. So he just kind of busts that one open. He's going to have a great shield. Man, Namor is so tough to be able to get rid of. He has yet another Horn of Proteus. He is looking for you. You got the Fate of Both Worlds popped up. It's the K-pop concert that you didn't know you needed. It's exactly directly on site because Elon Gold is trying to be able to defend from this target. You have yet another minion doing work while the man is taking a chill out timeout.
I like that point of view as well. It just kind of sat there and lingered. You didn't expect Luna to be able to land from that distance there. But the snowball is pretty accurate, so I guess that works out here too. And Moon Knight's here again on the Hulk. Not actually Moon Knight was eating a lot of that damage, but eventually it's going to haunt them a little bit as they are extremely low. Still haven't fallen somehow. And although they get back onto it, now a couple of ults is because of the invisible boundary, but now they're in trouble. As you see, the Emma Frost gets the shield up just in time, but now the dive in from Korean is imminent.
Trying to be able to land those claws. Korean just literally in the middle of a mosh pit. No friends here. And that is going to be the wall of death that eventually collapses onto them. So Elon Gold, they take out a few key targets, hoping to be able to get back to that cart. They're losing a lot of time. Still have about a fifth of this mark in this lane to be able to get back to it. They do unlock it yet again. This is a mishmash between some of these players. Ottawa holding to the door line as best as they can. Love the rundown that we're getting out of Arrow. Going to use that Haymaker mostly as a threat, but maybe as a promise.
I think Elon's got enough here to maybe push through. Woodsy did a lot of work on the front end, and that allowed it to. Even though you're frozen here, you'll still have a whole lot of health, and the whole gang will gather around this point. Be able to push it to the second one, puts a minute 30 here on the clock. But this final push is extremely difficult to go up this ramp, and that's what we're about to see in this engagement.
You're going to see if this next one can come back around. They don't have a big duelist ultimate to kind of work off for this clobber in time, but it will be able to pop everyone up, and they might be able to push them over the ledge if possible. That's exactly why you see Arrow kind of backing up. He doesn't have a lot of health. He's going to go to a teammate, provide some damage resistance. He also has the ability to get directly leaping, especially with the battle blitz, onto an opponent. You see some of that direct hallway funnel point healing. They use the Psionic Seduction. Woodsy trying to get everyone to come down that ramp, be able to get a clobbering time. Exactly. They pop him up. The invisible boundary, they're aiming at him. Get him off the ledge.
It wasn't almost timed correctly, but they eventually did get to it. But the Fate of Both Worlds will keep them alive here in this fight. The Ottawa is still kind of chilling here for the most part, as not even, again, Khonshu dropping down the hands, but still not able to do enough here. Korean made that quick switch to Moon Knight. It was trying to get a little bit of a cheeky kill, but Zach Jump will manage to get quite a few kills here for Elon, and they'll continue to march forward here with 23 seconds left.
Not having Moon Knight on Moon Knight is like a weird sin. I don't know what's going on with that, but you know what? They said they're Moon Knight's Ket, so maybe that's just kind of an off-kilter thing. Either way, they do also have the Penny Parker, so they're trying to be able to get a lot more speed and a lot more health resistance, and maybe landing a lot of those Spidey mines will create at least this moment of reprieve, but there is no rest for the wicked. Elon Gold trying to be able to get this Emma Frost as they have yet another Psionic Seduction. This one's coming from the side of Ottawa. They're going to use that quick rundown of the Spidey suit, and they're trying to force them through this lane, but they're getting frozen out.
The Psionic Seduction didn't do much. They'll have one more chance as Moon Knight currently has their ultimate as well, but Arrow and Zach Jump are going to combine. Just dive in and take it by storm. Absolutely rolled over as well, and even though it's overtime, they're still going to be able to make this pretty easy once they get the last one off the board. Sure enough, they do, and Elon Gold go the length of the distance.
That was not a fight. That was war. Ottawa gave at the very last second, and they did unto Elon Gold what Elon Gold did unto them. It was every inch being fought for hand over fist. Woodsy with 13 final hits to be able to get all of those kills. But, I mean, the striker, the backline sniper with those tridents, my goodness, was he doing work to keep them so long in that first stretch.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, they're a big reason why. And you take a look at the healing as well, the 32,000 that came out of the Cloak and Dagger. I bet they were missing that throughout the first couple of maps, too. So they were able to hang strong and be able to get through the end, but they don't have time on the clock. Ottawa's attack certainly wasn't the problem when we talk about their convergence maps, so we'll see if that's a similar story here on the Convoy. We'll see who they bring in right now. It's going to look like a very similar comp. We'll have the Adam Warlock. Potentially they want some res here with the Karmic Revival. That should certainly at least spark a bit of extra battles that maybe didn't go their way the first time.
Yeah, you're definitely going to get that off of V-Striker. The cooldown for that has been extended from 120 seconds to 135, so you take a 15-second reprieve and you just kind of chill with it. But Korean has also been a very key linchpin for success. Moon Knight over to that Winter Soldier, and they're going to be trying cracking down onto some of these guys. You have all of a single Vanguard. They're going to be going heavy into the damage and seeing what they can find from some of these rooftops. And V-Striker is no one to ignore.
Yeah, and I don't think they know that this is the case because you saw them originally play into the Squirrel Girl for Reezy. I was about to say I like that pick until I realized that it's going to be very tough to kind of track them down too. Winter Soldier, as you see from Moon Knight, so again, not trying to confuse the names, but it's very difficult to track. We'll do our best, at least. Top of it, V-Striker as well from that flanking position. They'll have to bail out here eventually because they're going to be on him in an instant.
This is a great also pick if you're able to find at least some level of sustain. Zac Jump was finding great power when it came to the Wolverine, mostly as a counter pick when they can be able to do it. But V-Striker is basically left uncontested right now. Zac Jump, I feel like under the Moon Knight, you're just going to be a little bit too slow to have to deal with the versatility and especially the speed that we're getting off of every single one of these high points from off of V-Striker. Meanwhile, Pet onto this Winter Soldier. He's getting clobbered away, so that's a great pick to be able to kind of level the playing field. Elon Gold hoping to trap him at this first corner.
Ooh, I mean, the Adam Warlock here, you have to have so much experience, and Koreans showing that as they were able to kind of march forward. Otherwise, that V-Striker doesn't stay alive in that moment, if that's the case. We'll see if Zac Jump can get behind them as well for Elon. They've not given Ottawa much contention here, as a Fate of Both Worlds is going to come out here for Ottawa, so they will start to march forward a little bit. Oh, no, that was Joshua peeing on the Elon side, still finding trouble finding any kind of value.
Not everyone is able to go down with that one. There is just so much good sustain, especially from that healing. When you get Galactic Legend popped up, you get that auto-targeting, but it's just not going to happen. You have actually so much revive that's coming out of Korean MVP. The reason he's here is for exactly that Guardian Revival, and it is a full party, and all the team came knocking.
Yeah, again, Moon Knight's going to step up in their place, and V-Striker has been doing V-Striker things from the get-go. That combination of leadership on this team cannot be understated. Ottawa's, again, being a beneficiary of that, as they'll have just under 2 minutes when they hit this first point, so they'll put more on the clock here to be able to get to the second point as well. Ottawa in good shape here as Elon tries to regroup.
I gotta wonder, I'm gonna be very curious for the stat block whenever we see Reezy going onto the after screen for whatever ends up being the way for this, but Squirrel Girl just doesn't seem to be doing the same thing that we need him to. Unbeatable Squirrel Tsunami, by the way, would be kind of loose. You end up getting a woozy, pushing away Woodsy. That's a key part of the success point here for Elon Gold. When you lose your Emma Frost, well, you lose the thighs. They're supposed to save lives.
Yeah, exactly. V-Striker, I can tell, was a Tracer player. I mean, it's yes. Very obvious. The way they get the flanks, the way they dash out, it almost feels like, you know? It's actually fantastic the way they've been able to blink, if you will, in and out. So they're going to be challenged, though, and contested. They realize that they're going to be a problem. They're going to have to track them down. So Zac Jump, very responsible for that. And Reezy's having to look multiple ways. I'm surprised they haven't switched off this Squirrel Go yet, but now finding them in line. And Squirrel Tsunami should be out as well to cause even more if they can.
It's a tough spot to be able to use it because they could fall immediately right off the cliff, and now they're getting just taken away. That is the Galactic Legend that's coming through. So they're going to use the Fate of Both Worlds to try and protect the rest of their team, applying some damage that they can, but that's just not going to allow them to be bled on down. You do have that Diamond form for all of a moment here from out of Danny. You're going to have the Psionic Seduction as the invisible boundary just now eclipses. They're stuck into this corner. This house in particular is a tough one to break. You now go Clobber in time, the Haymaker to try and throw them away. Striker comes back from the cocoon, so you got your big damager back on the field.
That's what I was thinking was going to happen, but I don't think Arrow actually ended up using that at all. Instead, it'll be the spectacular spin, though. It's 3, so they'll collect that 3-piece in the meantime. I thought it was going to be clobbering time as well, but Zac Jump said, I don't even need it. Keep it.
You get some web. You get some web. Last time it was all cocoons everywhere, but Oprah took a nap, and this one came back with the good old kid from Brooklyn. So, Elon Gold, gonna try and hold this lane for a little bit longer. They have 2.5 minutes. This is way more time buried than the last time that we got to be able to see it. You do have Clobber in time that can be used from an off angle, and this is a tough point, again, to be able to take over this cart that can be pushed immediately off the ledge, and Ottawa knows it.
Yeah, and it's like, when are they going to be able to utilize that? Look how much they are able to do in damage. They just drain all the way through them in tandem, completely just annihilate. 6 down from Elon Gold. Back to back to back. It's a full team wipe for Ottawa.
That is a ace and a half out the door. See ya 6 later. Oh, they got 86 so quickly. So Ottawa They will park the spider for all of a moment, but that ramp is looking pretty swift for this cart to be able to get to move. Elon Gold, they can hold this ramp, but look how deep they're playing this. They're going to say that their defensive standpoint is not going to be the first part. They want to be able to regroup. They're going to try and play from this cross.
Yeah, and I don't blame them the way that this has been going. Whenever they end up lining themselves up, it's been just basically a roll job on the side of Ottawa to be able to manage them and basically place them where they want them. Casual Soup will drop too. That Cloak and Dagger that was finding some value, not able to do so now as they'll drop at the Moon Knight back to back. So trade, Elon was able to get a surprise there in the pick.
This is a very meaty composition right now out of Elon. You do have the thing, but you also are just getting laid out. The Galactic Legend! V-Striker, he's putting so many bullets, too little time. There is a very, very rock-looking dude that is turned into pebbles as he has to retreat into his own respawn. One last team fight for Elon to try and at least reduce the minutes until we get a tied-up game.
Look, they're not even looking at V-Striker there. They are not checking their angles, and that is all because of what they've been able to run through just as far as Main Street goes. But this will be a great challenge attempt here from Elon, as they do have that advantage as far as spawns go. They're able to get back pretty quickly, as the Goddess of Death also out to try to cause more damage, but the Fate of Both Worlds will get them out of dodge.
Oh, they're going to have clobber time available. They're going to be able to get at least one. Elon Gold! 3 huge picks. Striker out of the way. But that's 3 cocoons. That's a 3-for-3 coupons for everybody. We're buying heroes to come on back. Moon Knight taking a siesta, rubbing the bridge of his nose, but still the killing continues. Elon Gold is pushing Ottawa back.
Yeah, they're not able to sustain it, although they got the reses. Eventually, you can't hit it twice in a row. But V-Striker and Danny are going to combine, as Woodsy's going to fall off that Emma Frost. Joshua and Arrow fall back-to-back as well. So with a minute 17, it looks like they should be able to gain enough. Mr. Fantastic just tries to stay on the point to cause a little bit more damage and stall just a little bit longer, but not enough. A minute 9 left on the clock as Ottawa reach the end as well.
So they're going to have that minute 9 bonus. Elon Gold will have first try to move the cart. But if we know anything, Bear, that has already been showcased to be a tough thing. It was Ottawa that basically just kept marching. And the toughest point for them was about the midway half. 16 last hits for Zach Jump, but 21 on V-Striker. V-Striker is a menace. It doesn't matter if it's Namor. It doesn't matter, especially if it's Star-Lord. The dude is hitting him from distance.
Yeah, it's absolutely incredible to watch. I've been absolutely fascinated with it. It's not very frequently as frequent as, you have Star-Lord shooting to see 47% accuracy is actually pretty nutty there. And 39 and 8 speaks for itself there too. Able to stay alive even as a very squishy target. But it's all about that movement, all about the flanks, being able to find zones that maybe the defensive Elon wasn't looking for. So no surprise they'll probably go back to it. And that's what it looks like they will lock in here as they look to defend against Elon, who's got their chance with a minute on the clock to try to push this card as far as they can.
I'm wondering if they're going to have enough to be able to survive and stay here to keep Ottawa, or actually to get themselves moving forward, because it's going to be Elon Gold that is actually pushing out first. They're going to have the minute on the clock. They're at least looking at the idea of having Reezy on the Namor. This will be the first time that they would be doing that. So they've taken a few notes out of the book of Ottawa and seeing what they can maybe be doing in opposite against Striker. But Striker is taking the high ground, and he's immediately hunting down Zach Jump, who has to retreat. He says, the skies, the buildings, these are mine.
And that's what makes V-Striker so good, right? It's not that I have to kill this Spider-Man, but you get him off the roof, and then therefore he stops challenging you. You'll let the rest of the team maybe catch him on the way out too. Although they didn't get him this time around, it doesn't really matter much because you're stalling as much as you can. But right now, Elon Gold is able to at least get bit of a distance. V-Striker's still up here on top. No picks really to be seen quite yet, as the strategists certainly doing their jobs. Almost got that land too. Very low on the carts, as well as Emma Frost continues to shield off the back line from being able to heal.
Striker is basically left uncontested. He's doing everything he needs to, and then Elon Gold is playing purely turtle. They're having to stick to this card and see what they can do and just protect their Namor from this backline position. As soon as Striker is able to get an eye and a bead on them, this one might be over. You have the Kraken Impact ready to go here for Moon Knight Ket. See if they're going to be able to bust this one out. You also got Groot trying to at least force some walls between them and Ottawa. Now, give some credit over to the Phoenix out of Elon Gold. They have been pushing forward. The invisible boundary is there. You're also going to have that between both worlds, and they're gonna be dancing. It's a double K-pop concert out here, Bear.
Yeah, they're having a good time dancing. Middle dance party going on right now. Last thing, the thing that we need is basically a Psylocke so we can get the Dance of the Butterfly going and we would have a full dance party there. But the Red's still working well too as Koreans gotten a couple pulled up, including themselves, but Woodsy and Joshua put them right back on their backs, and Zach Jump finally, when he's able to avoid the clutches of V-Striker, does eventually get a couple of picks that'll move this point forward.
My man living in 2099, trying to advance into the year 3000. He wants to live a head and shoulders beyond and above the GGs out of Ottawa. Now, here's the problem. They have to be super glued to that cart. Unlocking that first one, thumbs up. Good job. You also got the big vine grab. I don't think they were able to get anyone with that. They put a wall between them and a hard place. That ultimate went bye-bye.
Yeah, now the Galactic Legend not going to get as much. They will gain one. And Danny was able to get the rest too. But look at this spectacular spin. Gathers 3. Moon Knight is only able to answer back with 1, but the damage has been done.
Striker trying to do everything he can, just hoping to find at least the tank, get him out of the way. This becomes the final duel, Spidey versus Star-Lord, and they will separate his mortal coil. He will actually come back from the cocoon and go for a safety spot. So if there's anything to be said, Zach Jump is answering the call when his team needs him most, and they will gain some ground.
Did they or did they go back to spawn? I think they made the right choice to go back to spawn to regroup here in that push. Yeah, because they're not going to be able to challenge here. They're good at flanking, don't get me wrong, but V-Striker's not going to be able to 1v5 in that moment. They'll find the exact right spot, so they were able to kind of bounce back with the rest of the team and try to make this next initial push.
Gonna wait for the physics push. They're gonna try and get them off the tank, and that's exactly why they brought Groot, because he's got the wall. He's gonna let them fall off the bridge just that easily. Gonna try and have Horn of Proteus get them out of the way. They cannot leave that cart. They're gonna have at least one person onto it, but look at the challenge they're bringing to a Bear. Everyone is just depleted. They're getting thrown aside. Elon Gold is rising up.
And just down Broadway, as essentially able to just kind of rush them down a little bit. Almost looks like to rush down a comp there, but it's not, right? You've got a little bit of zoning for sure with the Reezy and Woodsy combination, and I don't think Ottawa's ready for this one as they push that teensy little bit of overtime all the way to the second point here, it seems, and now they'll look for 3.
This is a gut check moment. Unlocking the second checkpoint. Ottawa, they were on the forward attack. They were on their toes. But Elon Gold, the switch up. Zach Jump says, if I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it tooth and claw. They're going straight into the fray. You've got the big pull off the strangling prison. Everyone's trapped. They're trying to lay him down now.
Where's the follow-up? Where's the follow-up? Nobody able to get to it, and the fate of both worlds comes up for uOttawa. They catch a break here in this fight, and now they should be able to turn this one on their head if they play their cards right. The Horn of Proteus does land on one, and they cause a whole lot more damage. They might not have gotten the picks, but the rest will follow suit. Danny and V-Striker on it as well, and make Moon Knight and Uzi join the party as well. And finally, they hold off, but not before Elon's able to get a couple of points.
That was an extra bonus right there. But Bear, you were so right. You had that strangling prison, but they didn't have anyone in line to take advantage of it, and it allowed them to get their Luna Snow ult popped up, survive, and then when they had that high back line, Striker and the rest of the game just came meteoring in. But what a run that was. You and I were looking at that, and I was like, dude, this is going to end somewhere at the beginning of this second lane, and they just kept pressing.
Yeah, it was a no-quit attitude, and they changed it up. Like I mentioned, a lot more zoning in that fact. They started off with the group, but it really started to hit home whenever they got a little bit of momentum, and they were able to kind of force them back. uOttawa didn't really have an answer, and typically they were playing around certain areas, but whenever you get a res, and if you don't have your healers in sight, there's nothing you can do about it. Those group walls certainly helped, but at the same time, Ottawa just not able to quite capitalize on a couple of things. Elon Gold certainly found some value in it. That one mistake is something that you can kind of brush off your shoulders. You've done enough work to feel confident here if you're Elon Gold to be able to hold Ottawa, even if they have that 2 minutes 9 seconds. That's going to tick down faster than you think in your brain.
Yeah, it definitely will. And I'm wondering, because they've decided to not bring up the Guardian Revival, I wonder if V-Striker's kind of peeking just outside of spawn to see what's kind of out there, and then maybe switch right back around. But he's going to stick on the Namor for right now. He found so much value and was a great backliner for his team last time that they had to be able to kind of push out of this situation. You actually have a pause. Woodsy from the side of Elon Gold has called pause. Okay. So something must have occurred. You get 30 seconds. We're going to wait all of a second to see exactly what communication is coming up.
Yeah, I know you're allowed timeouts for sure. I'm not sure you can do that when you've already started the game. Game crashed is what we're being told here, so we'll be able to restart that one because it was in the beginning stages of that run here. So of course the suspense continues here as we restart overtime there. I'm impressed. I thought Elon was on their backs here on this one. I thought they would fall flat. We also said that after domination, after they dropped that one, we saw what happened. So this is a team with a no-quit attitude, I'll tell you that.
I was telling you when I was looking at their group stage summaries and all of their records, like, yeah, they went, I think, 14-9. Wasn't the prettiest, not the 17-4 and the 5-1 kind of overall record displayed from the side of uOttawa. But still, there's a team that went deep series every single one of their matches, and they went 3-3 right at the even side of the pack for their group to be able to even make the playoffs. So they're not a dominant force, but they are a learning one and an adapting one. You see Zach Jump, very responsible about, he's like, all right, I'm going to try this a couple times. This does not work. I have at least a 2 and 3 hero deep pool, and being able to not be resistant to the need for change for your team has definitely allowed them to find success, just like what we saw in that overtime.
Those are valid points for sure. I'd also want to state that they also have 10 on their roster versus the 6 that we see from uOttawa. So you get the many voices, and it's not a too many cooks in the kitchen situation. It's a situation where you have plenty of feedback, right, and be able to grow together. And I think that's why you're seeing that from Elon Gold. It's just a simple depth that we see before. But here we go, back in action as we see overtime continue. Ottawa on the attack.
You also, just as an inside scoop, Ottawa's asking Adam if he would join their program and play on their team. He's like, I need more than 6 people. It's like, shout out Adam. He's a great guy. But he was like, dude, you do not want me playing for you guys.
I would have 1v1 Adam. I'm pretty sure it'd be the first thing that I actually do really well, but it's not about me. It's about uOttawa at this point. And they have been pushing this point very, very quickly. So clearly they made some great adjustments themselves. They got a long way to go and just a minute left to get to this point. And Elon's going to go ahead and force this point. I don't blame them. And they get a couple kills right off the bat. Korean lands 1, but that'll be about it here in this fight.
Count on me.
And make them wait. 50 seconds. This is about as good for maybe a single team fight. They might be rethinking to bring up that cocoon, see if they can be able to activate that team up. I love the extra guitar riff that you get from every time you kind of swing around. I wonder if that gets annoying for Zach Jump. He's about to build up to at least the ultimate here. They know he's right behind them, so some kidnapping is at least being pursued. Koreans trying to let them all know.
Toying with him a little bit. Saying, giving a little shoulder peek or whatnot. He'll join the rest of the crew, and he probably should because Ottawa's grouped together here and for good reason, but a bit of an overextension there might cost them a little bit, but they're able to get out of dodge based on the Luda specifically. Psionic Seduction out here too.
Use the haymaker just as they do the seduction, trying to be able to get Zach Jump online, see if we can get him down. You're gonna have the Kraken smash, see if they're able to come through and just wreck shop. Cat is able to get a couple. That means that all of Zach Jump and Joshua Ping are up. He's actually going to just keep this one nearby, but they know they don't need to use that ultimate just right now. In fact, there's going to be 5 out of 6 online for Elon. They might be able to burst Ottawa as they regroup for this site.
I was just about to say 53% as well away from essentially having all 6 ultimates. So here they come. Psionic Seduction should be able to pull them into the rest of the ultimates that will come in tandem. Spectacular spin out to try to get some value. They get a couple of kills there too. Koreans only able to bring back themselves, and that'll cause the rest to get there. Wait, the res is coming through.
Oh!
Also, Ottawa, can they stay on this point?
Trying to cocoon their way through this one. So they brought it for a second team fight. What about second breakfast? What about another meal? And Ottawa is giving them more than they can chew. Elon Gold, they still have another chance, especially with the big smashes coming in, throwing some stony bows. But Ottawa's standing strong, but they're starting to get melted.
Yeah, they're backed off for tip early. You can't back off too far, though, with the overtime lingering. Have to see on the point. Made it both worlds on the opposite side. Elon should be able to finish it off this way. Woodsy gets a couple, and that should solidify things. Elon marched it so far forward, and when they were on their heels, and they hold off Ottawa here to win this one and go to 2-1 in maps played.
GG's will come up short. Another moving cart situation. Ends up just too far. Elon Gold and the Phoenix, though, they rise high. They get fiery, and they're able to take this series now to match point. First to 3 Bear. we'll be coming on the other side. I think we're going back to domination, right?
We are. We go back to domination, and uOttawa will get to pick a second map in a row. Credit Elon for taking one of Ottawa's, and now they'll have 2 and ham double match point. Like you mentioned, this will be great, but the 54, look at the 64 on Woodsy is absolutely outrageous. Not to mention, they were the ones to live the most too, so the Emma Frost is causing damage and staying alive, and that was all on the back of Woodsy that Elon was able to get that done. That's incredible.
Who's to say that Emma Frost's damage reduction got reduced? That no way.
Imagine how much better they were before. Like, holy cow.
Look, I know how much better Emma Frost was before because I couldn't go into a single game without there being a diamond mama waiting to absolutely tear me down. The key thing they did was try to take down some of her forward damage. She was probably the most damagey style Vanguard in the lineup. And I was like, dude, you can't just abuse me like this for free. Like, take me out to dinner. This is ridiculous. So now as we go to domination, I gotta wonder how much they're gonna shift some of this paradigm, Bear, because when you look at what happened on Krakoa, that is not something that Elon wants to repeat. Didn't feel good.
No, it certainly didn't. Keep in mind that that was the pick of uOttawa as well. So I think we got in Ottawa all the way through as far as map picks go. That's kind of crazy that Elon's up through one after that situation. So Elon had picked Jalia. So either way, though, yeah, it didn't feel good going down 2-0, but you have 2 remaining maps that you can choose from now. And remember that uOttawa was able to ban 1 too. So that means whatever map that uOttawa banned, you better guarantee that that's where we're going to go. Now, whether or not we're talking about Hell's Heaven or T'Challa, probably T'Challa, but we'll have to see here regardless. We'll definitely have a bit of a more of advantage. I don't think I'd see it being a steamroll, especially after the momentum you've gained, the confidence you gained over the past couple of maps.
That's very true. And this team has shown that they will not only adapt, but also they'll do a little bit of mimicry. And I think some of that gets kind of into the head from pulling over to the Wolverine. They're like, oh, you picked Wolverine? Cool. We'll go on Wolverine. Seeing the Namor find some value, they're like, yeah, that's a good idea. That's that we're gonna use that too. So, and this is gonna be the Jolly as well, as we'll be coming over into. So we'll get to see this one move again. So, this is now kind of a wake up moment. Obviously, you and I have seen a lot of uOttawa in several esports. They have some players that are adapting not just from like Overwatch, but from Splatoon, some depth, trying to recreate, especially into like a Div 3 mode, what they can do here, Bear. So this is that initial gut check moment because it's single elimination. They got to survive.
They have to be able to stay alive. They've gotten their map choice here, and they'll be able to continue to try to push back in what they're able to do on domination. I think it serves them better. I think their team comps were able to do it too. So we'll see what Elon bans because they'll have their opportunity to do so. So let's go to it now and check out who they lock in here momentarily, who they ban out. And it should be a clear fact that they don't want anything to do with that Namor, and we'll see if that becomes part of the equation here.
Yeah, like what? Say, all right, you know what you hate, you know what you love, and you know what you want. It's like what ends up being kind of your priority. You're like, we don't like Punisher. All right, well, receive no more. We don't want Star-Lord, but we don't want to have to deal with banning him. So which way do you go? Who do you end up locking in? And that Spider-Man has been left unchecked. I would almost wonder if uOttawa gets cheeky and says, no Spider-Man.
I wonder it too. Zach Jump was incredible with it as far as the spectacular spin later on to get that one going. They were chased off by the Namor, like we mentioned, and right off the board really quickly. We don't talk about the Doctor Strange because that's been banned almost instantly by Elon every single time.
Yeah, I mean, ever since they let it go from the first domination, they're like, all right,
never again.
Actually, no more of the strange force, if you will. So Spider-Man, Zach Jump is gonna have to change his ways, and we're gonna see how some of that shifts. We got to see a little bit of an attempt to do some Moon Knight. They want to lock in, making sure that you have the invisible boundary. I don't think either side is gonna complain about that.
No doubt. I wonder who that allows Elon to save, and sure enough, it's going to be Magneto. Because remember, when you take them off the board, then of course you're allowing yourself to jump in tandem, and Elon was able to get that done and saved on the Magneto. So that'll be there. So on the other side, Invisible Woman. I mean, pretty standard, especially the way uOttawa has been handling her.
Yeah, and there it is. Right, you take our Spider-Man.
Yep.
Goodbye. your aerial superiority. So this is going to be a ground battle unless we shift around. Remember, last domination, they went over to Scarlet Witch like a lot. So that may be where Ottawa kind of picks them up. There goes your Cloak and Dagger. So who are you going to prioritize? Who they want to keep? They may kind of show their hand here, especially for that key duelist.
Yeah, you have to be able to lock it in here at this point, and I think that's going to be the call. I think you've got it spot on. They're gonna save Hulk. So Bruce Banner, looking for maybe a dive comp. Ottawa was feeling really good about it. I don't know if you remember all the way back to map 1, but they did find a whole lot of killings and jumping in. The shield certainly helped as well.
I can see that working out really well. You're going to get some kind of gamma combination depending on if you kind of work a team up the right way with this one. All right, so you're going to have Iron Man. Ultron is not being talked about. Don't know if he's going to kind of pop up for a domination. Might end up having Stark Protocol come online if they really want to. Punisher's away. So this one was about shifting the dynamic. Who do we ban and pick strategist-wise? Now they're like, we don't like these duelists. Get rid of them.
Yeah, 100%. Punisher was really opening up the play for Ottawa, so I'm surprised they didn't. Okay, there it is. Locked. I was going to say, like, how long does it take to find Ultron on the list? He's got to be bottom of the order as far as alphabetical goes. So they were like trying to find him. Because, like, once you see that Iron Man locked in, it's like, we're going to deny that team up. It served Elon favors last time, so no doubt that they're going to go ahead and ban that out for uOttawa as well.
All right, so you get rid of them. Let's see where the Rocket is probably going to be a mainstay. Zach Jump, they did flash the Wolverine at least as a counter to what was being done, just kind of for the memes. I think it was WK5 that was doing that. But I mean, let's talk about the flex that also. Remember, WK5 was ruinous when they were on Scarlet Witch. They have been mostly back over to a strategist, and sometimes your deadliest minds are on the back line.
You have to be able to lead from that charge because you basically have visuals consistently unless you're playing with the flank, for example. But yes, the leadership does come from the back lines, but that also takes a great line of communication from the DPS to be able to bail your back lines out. Ottawa's kind of slipped away from that in times, but basically due to Elon being able to get around in that one, and Reezy is going to go on the Iron Man regardless of the lack of team up, and the Wolverine for Zach Jump, which was also very pesky. So this is gonna be a composition that's gonna be very annoying, especially with the Emma Frost to lead the charge.
I feel like, especially Ottawa's in a really strong position. Both sides are going to have the mental projection team up, but it's going to also be existing for V-Striker. And if V-Striker has been forced to go to the floor, this could be a very dangerous Psylocke game for Elon Gold to have to kind of play into. Now, they have to find some level of counter into Reezy's Iron Man. And Iron Man, even without having the Stark Protocol online, is a very tough character to be able to get rid of. So if you don't have anyone to kind of down check all that hit scan that he's bringing from the sky, then you're going to have a tough time, because he's also going to deal with the sandwich from his other player, Wolverine from the ground. That's a tough combo to deal with.
Full targeting on heals for Woodsy, and I don't blame them. The way that Woodsy was able to play last time as well on that Vanguard and playing the role extremely well. They got pretty low in that fight, but they were able to kind of battle back, and Ottawa was not able to match them tit for tat, and that's why you see them confident in their ability to jump in, as Wolverine will get away with their lives with a breakable wall there to get back to point.
Yeah, I was thinking he was throwing him into some other galaxy that we hadn't quite seen. Turns out it was just cardboard. Elon Gold, they're aiming to at least now build up some time as they push around this kind of right angle hallway, and with Moon Knight going down, that means that one of your Vanguard to kind of sustain some of this elongated fight is going to be staggered out, but they're keeping this one very, very close. You do have the invisible boundary online as well as Meteor M for Woodsy, and that's actually been one of your key players to really get this team some success. A lot of ultimates to be able to keep Elon Gold in the front.
Yeah, and especially when you're able to have this open space. There it is, the Meteor M for Monstrous. Able to Uzi to fall on that one too as a key drop. Same with WK5, who's been effective on the Luna, will not be here. We'll have to wait for them to respawn. Of course, they can skate back to point is the only point of emphasis, and the fact that they'll have 4 ults moving into the next fight for Ottawa.
This pulse cannon is going to be difficult to have to deal with. They're going to saw straight through Striker. Good kidnap from out of Reezy. Oh, actually, that one was from out of Zach Jump, and then Reezy was able to just kind of finish off the rest. You also have the Psionic Seduction, but they're fighting a war on 2 separated fronts, and now as they kind of push them away, they're going to use some of that extra physics of the Fate Between Worlds. They use that Meteor M just to be able to crush through the ceiling, hoping to be able to take on this opposite side angle. And Ottawa, finding it difficult, and we're already at 80+%.
Oh, now it's a dance party. Now we've got the fate of both worlds coming with the dance of the butterfly. In addition to that one, so that combination is going to try to eat into Elon. It does take care of Joshua, and WK5 will fall on the side of Ottawa this time around. It's a bit 1-for-1, but it's going to be Ottawa ultimately coming up with the big victories in this one, especially on the strategists, and that's why you see them be able to shift this point just in time.
There's a great complementary ult combo that's online right now for Ottawa as well. They have the Psionic Seduction as well as the Goddess of Death. You get those two together, they're going to be just walking straight into a long blade of deadly crows. So Elon Gold needs to be wary of that, kind of separate themselves, see what they can be able to do to kind of jump that one early, and that's why they're going to be prioritizing getting rid of Danny. But Danny's also in full diamond form and ready for everyone to kind of meet these feet.
Yeah, unfortunately, the positioning is terrible. They were down low versus Elon, who had the advantage as far as height goes. But now the Meteor to try to tear through the Psionic Seduction to try to cause a little bit of value. Goddess of Death should be able to strike one at the very minimum. Arrow does fall Reezy as well. And that allows Uzi to clean up the rest on Zach Jump after half of their health was taken off from that original engagement.
Off timing whenever they had them marching downwards, and I was thinking maybe they would use it immediately, but they kind of used everything as a stagger. Elon Gold off of Woodsy's Meteor M. It was kind of defensive because they thought that Korean was actually going to throw that one earlier. But because they had to wait for the Meteor, they elongated that stay of the ultimate. Now building right back up into their own Meteor here for Moon Knight Ket. Woozy has the invisible boundary, and this could be one last big fight as they're already streaming up into 70%. Elon Gold just needs to be able to get this clear, and they might be able to just make this wipe happen.
Unfortunately, Reezy caught the tail end of Joshua not being able to get that orb in time to be able to heal them from a distance. Meteor M out, but the fate of both worlds is going to basically deny this one. Plus, you're completely engaged within the rest of them. Moon Knights is in trouble here as the Wolverine will dive onto him as well. And Zach Jump getting to the exchange, but Elon used a whole lot of ultimates to try to secure this point. And I think they're probably going to be able to get it done as long as V-Striker can't find a miracle here.
Dance of the Butterfly is just not going to work inside of that invisible boundary. There's way too much overhealing, and they're just trying to be able to track him down. That should be able to clear the rest of the board. Elon Gold is forcing out the rest of this overtime. They have the Goddess of Death, and she's basically left unchecked. That's both Zach as well as Arrow going down. So this one's not quite done. This one continues to build. They're about to recap Bear, and they might be able to steal this.
Korean did drop, but not after they got the 3-piece to begin with. They won't have that res comp they had in the last map for Ottawa won't, and they did drop 3, though. They did shift this point, and now overtime forced the hands of Elon. They only had 1 on point. They will drop. Overtime will tick down. Now it's up to them to stall Elon. Can they do it? Very low as far as health goes, but keeps it alive for now. And now they might shift as well as now Wolverines join the party.
They had to bring out the Captain America. That means he's not really got a lot to put in. The mag cannon goes off and everyone falls out. What a way to take it away. Ottawa steals the first of this Micro BO3 domination away from Elon Gold. No one was ready to counter the Goddess of Death. They live by their namesake and they took it away.
Yeah, between that and Magneto getting back on into form, that was just something special, no doubt about it. They didn't even have Fate of Both Worlds, which I feel like was going to be necessary for them to be able to cap that points or at least keep themselves alive with WK5, who will bring that in to this map, by the way. But they call it Stellar Spaceport for a reason, because that battle was nothing less.
It was fantastic. And look at the healing difference, too. You have a lot of just kind of sitting to that hallway. There was a lot more damage basically being funneled directly at Elon because of the hard corner that they were sitting into. Ottawa was playing much more on the move, and they were sending out the damage. You had a nice balanced spread. Woodsy had to be responsible for a lot more of that directly into the way. So now Elon Gold, they need to be able to take that mental break. Domination has not been kind to them. That one looked a lot better than their first attempt. This next one, Ottawa might be able to tie us up and send us to a game 5.
You know, I look at Elon's comp too, and I'm thinking, you know, with the Magneto solo Vanguard situation here, that maybe the Mr. Fantastic would kind of play a little bit better into that, because you get a pseudo second bit of health there. But it hasn't really been playing that way. Ottawa is able to make the most of one moment. Elon found that to be very successful a little bit earlier on in that map, but of course, you have to finish the map. You can't just start it strong.
I really haven't believed in the Mr. Fantastic situation that Elon Gold has brought a time or two. Woodsy has been really good, but I just haven't seen him bring the same kind of value that maybe they're thinking about it. They actually, because of these bans and these picks, have the ability to go the Fantastic Four. If they want to bring out the Human Torch as well as the Thing, they actually could be able to bring that out. That you do have the Dance of the Butterflies, and guess what? They're looking exactly at that. They're looking at the flowers, and they're going to have to go pick them up from the graves.
And that started with Korean being able to basically shelter them in as a shepherd, if you will, kind of into their pens. And the Dance of the Butterfly did the rest. They were bouncing back, trying to get through, and really, retreat to some degree. But it was just not to be, as they forgot that Psylocke was, well, invisible and right behind them waiting. And still not even allowing them to get in anywhere, really. Basically, everything's been denied. But Elon Gold with 5 ultimates, that's going to be able to open things up, you would imagine.
This is the elusiveness that Stryker has always kind of presented for us. They eventually get taken down because they fight directly into the invisible boundary, and now you're seeing some of that come through. This Mr. Fantastic has a lot of great sustain to be able to keep themselves out onto the main point. Meteor will come down, but if it actually gets bombed out. If you overload the Meteor, it will get destroyed. So that's what ends up happening here against Arrow, trying to use some of that extra magic, force some of that melee to really kind of send them away. The Goddess of Death comes up, and they get a pick onto at least one. They find 2. Korean doing work. 3.
Wow, got Rizzy on the way out. Can they make it 4? It was so close. But not quite able to do it. Luckily, the rest of the team is just following them around, so that will be easy work. They're even staggering them to some degree before they get that kill. And I was just about to talk up Casual Soup as well. They did a great job keeping Joshua Ping alive, so that way they could actually switch in the fate of both worlds to the speed increase instead, a damage increase, be able to get the rest of the team to really stick on it. But credit uOttawa for sticking with it and be able to recap that point.
Stryker and Danny just fell. That's like their key vanguard as well as their main duelist, and that's some extra work being put in by Woodsy trying to be able to get some of this percentage done. I thought that they were actually causing a mistake by staying there for so long, but you're seeing Woodsy off of this Mr. Fantastic finally getting some major value, and they have to do it through some key pick plays. You do have the final stand here for Zach Jump. They use that Pharaoh Leap to try and get themselves out of the way. They don't find a key target. They're hoping to kidnap them and bring them directly on the site. They jump away from the Psylocke ultimate. That's that Dance of the Butterflies. They're chopping them down. An Arrow eventually doesn't have enough magnets to stay through the death.
I like the Beast Striker when you're dancing, able to kind of dance around it at the very tail end instead of being a lost cause, be able to get to it as well. But look, as Jack Jump joining the party as well. Got them so close, but luckily the support came around from Uzi just in time.
13 seconds. Elon Gold. They're going to have to sprint back to site, and they're going to probably have to do it again off of Captain America.
They've got time.
At least, actually, they have the Thing. Just enough distance. They need to get one directly on target. They do switch over to the Captain America, and does that shield stay long enough? They have the damage reduction off of the Thing. Trying to be able to use that Freedom Leap. He's going to go punching. He's got a shield. Double invisible boundaries. The ellipsis in between. What's going to end up being the one that comes out the other side?
They got to be able to survive those couple of ultimates that are coming out. Plus, you've got Moon Knight basically pending. They should be able to have the Meteor pretty soon, but they're going to have a whole lot of targets to have to deal with, and they don't have a whole lot of health on the back end, too. They've played this extremely well if you're Elon. Now they've got the Fate of Both Worlds up and ready to go. The Meteor is out, but that's only going to cause a little bit of damage. They did Joshua down, though, and now the Fate of Both Worlds is working in their favor. uOttawa should be able to survive this one at the 99%, be able to shift it back as overtime, but look as Elon holds strong.
Woodsy trying to hold up all of America on their mighty shoulders. You got some bonus health that's coming through. Some shields here for Elon. The Dance of the Butterflies. Reezy can do it just the same way. They trade 1 for 1. Night will fall. But everyone from Elon is starting to become less and less. They have to be able to get this point, and they have that overtime just barely online. It's up to clean up duty. Stryker is going to diff them on the Psylocke. We are going to go to game number 5. Ottawa survives.
So it's a 2-0 just like we saw in map 1, but nowhere near the same stop. That was so close. Inches could have been the decider here. Elon was that close to being able to stay alive, but I go back to that first point. I mean, that was spectacular to be able to just inch that one out, to stay alive, and Hello was a big part of this one. Regardless of what they say for MVP, there are just such big moments that they were able to capitalize on. Korean, absolutely deadly here. The numbers even reflected too, only died 3 times. They stayed alive, and then they were able to cause those deaths that were very important against Elon, more importantly, as Joshua fell a couple of times victim to that.
That hella pick ended up being hella good. That was solid. And Striker, even when they take away Punisher, even when they take away Star-Lord, even when they take away and no one wants to play with Namor, Striker's like, I got a deep hero pool, fool. I can do this one. And they continue to just be a threat, adapting and evolving the battlefield one good map at a time. Remember, it's first to 3. We will be going into a convergence here, Bear. And possibly, if that tie happens, we have a 6th map of an escort. Both these schools showing up.
Yeah, they certainly are. It's been great. I was watching the Luna battle as well. I want to point out beforehand as WK5 versus the other side of things, and really it went to show you that it's not all about healing there. As it seemed like WK5, even though they had the most healing out of both Lunas, at the end of the day, it was the ability to be able to cause damage that was the difference here, and they're able to force the map number 5 here in the NECC Marvel Rivals Summer Tournament Playoffs. Division 3. So we'll see who wins in the map 5 after this quick break.
Hey man, grab me a meat stick. I think I can reach it if I just a little more. Just let me go a little. I can't. Just a little more. I almost got it. Careful! Oh God! No, come on, just reach. Just grab my hand. I can't hold it. Grab my hand.
Give me the meat stick. This other hand's closer. The one with the stick is. Oh.
What am I supposed to say?
It doesn't matter. He's dead. He ain't listening to you anyway.
I'm hungry.
No. Put it away. I can't watch it. Oh, crap. Just reach in. You gotta pull it. Just grab it. Just take it out of his hand. What do you mean you can't?
He won't let go.
What do you mean he won't let go? He's dead.
Help me. Get in there.
No, just hold on.
Make him let go of it. No, I got you covered. Just go in for a hug. Go and get on in there. It's a bad loss. Yeah, hug him up. Just reach. Hug him up.
He's breathing.
On the other side.
Go.
I can't.
Just-
I can't do it.
Help me, Lord. Help me get over this loss.
I can't breathe.
Hey, I can't breathe. I'm so upset. I can't breathe. Stop. You knock on wood so they go to heaven. It's like a lucky. Hey, get the stick.
Yeah.
Hey, did you get the meat stick?
Yeah, I got it.
Hey, just hold tight for a second. They're moving the casket. Just hold tight.
Yeah, that's no worries. I got it.
Oh, what an awesome day for a pump, dude.
Yeah, I gotta take it easy. Doc says if I exert myself, I will die.
You overexert yourself, you will die.
I'll tell you what, you finish the workout, all these could be yours. That looks good. A little bit of honey ham for the ham. Get after it, and that's your, nope, get after it, and that's your treat. Hey, do the exercise, do the work, then you get the reward. That's how this works, man. You gotta give it max effort, maximum effort. That's what I'm talking about, baby. Big hams. Make it work, those hams. Work 'em. Putting in the work. Yeah, baby. Yes. This is a spicy workout. Gotta make it worth it. Building the beef and bringing home the bacon, baby. I'm loving it. Teriyaki is just about within your reach. Come on, get you some. Come on. Ooh, ooh. Maximum effort. Maximum effort. You're there. You're almost there.
That's so worth it.
What do you make of this up here? Just showed up in the yard a couple days
Is a
ago.
dog been digging in there?
I don't think so, dude. That goes way down in there. Seriously, did you just lose your meat stick?
Yeah.
Oh, no. There's something in there, dude. Just leave it.
Are you kidding me?
We'll just head to the house. Just leave it.
The hell with that.
Oh, yeah. There's something in there.
Want one?
Thank you.
It was worth it.
Oh, man, this is incredible.
Wow.
Huh?
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
It is pretty cool. Hey, man, grab me a meat stick. I think I can reach it if I just a little more. Just let me go a little. I can't. Just a little more. I almost got it. Careful! Oh, God. No. Come on, just reach. Reach. Just grab my hand. I can't hold it. Grab my hand.
Give me the meat stick. This other hand's closer. The one.
Hail, Monkey Man and Bearlight back with you here for the NECC Marvel Rivals Summer Tournament Playoffs. Division 3 quarterfinals is where we find ourselves, and we're going to a map 5, and rightfully so. These have been battles after battles.
It has been absolute warfare, but at the end of the day, true war, nobody wins. This one, someone has to win. First to 3 is exactly what we're going into. So in case you missed the first 4, welcome to what could be an absolutely gritty climax. Domination is not what is on board for Elon, but they sure win when they got a cart to move.
No doubt about it. They've been extremely strong. We saw it with the 5-4, 5-4. It's also been extremely close there. The 2-0 the last time around at Burning T'Challa, if you're just joining us, is very misleading. That was extremely close. So Elon's been favored in this moment. They go into map 5 extremely confident, but what they haven't had is the ability to choose one of those maps as well, which they'll be able to do here at Quintar Symbiotic Surface. So that's what we'll see here as we get into the map, into the bands rather, as far as heroes go. So let's check it out, Monkey Man. We've seen a lot of variety now. We said that some of the players got a little bit one-dimensional. Well, we've been seeing them across the map here, and it's all been due to these bans. Elon Gold's been heavy targeting on that Doctor Strange. Does that change here?
I feel like that stays. I think that we basically have the battle rapport of what's going to be happening between these two teams. They've kind of basically isolated, all right, Stryker cannot do Stryker things. They're going to get rid of basically his entire hero pool if they possibly could. Doctor Strange, though, probably will stay offline because they don't want to have to deal with GPUs getting fried from creating six different instances inside the same map. But I could also be super wrong. Maybe like, you know what? Get rid of his entire hero pool. Get rid of it. Gone.
Yeah, you got to start somewhere. That's why we play the back and forth, right? We've seen a lot of mockery. But what we haven't seen, we've seen copies, but we haven't seen a Loki yet, which I don't think we're going to. And Doctor Strange right off the board once again. So just instant, no, we don't want anything to do with that. And the Spider-Man caused him all sorts of chaos. It worked for him last time. That's why we see him lock it in again.
I don't know what you prioritize locking in at this point, because whatever they intend to use, pretty much Ottawa's like, okay, head nodding, cool, yeah, we're down with that. Like an Emma Frost, the thing, they're not really like a huge hurt. Psylocke, all right, they are safety picking Psylocke to make sure that they can be able to have that level of input that Strikers had before.
Yep.
Magneto, makes sense that we get that out of Elon again.
Yeah, 100%. We've seen a whole lot of value out of Woodsy from that one. You mentioned the Mr. Fantastic not working as well, so I think they go right back to that Magneto for sure. And they're going to go ahead and ban out Luna Snow too. Interesting one for sure. The fate of both worlds, maybe they're just sick of just, their ability to stall if you're University of Ottawa, which happened pretty frequently too.
I mean, that as well as resisting the ultimate burst. So if you have Fate of Both Worlds popped, you can't do the same things that you've been doing before, especially like your Spider-Man's not going to be there. But if you have the Meteor M, they're trying to not just use it defensively, but very offensively. So especially with the way Woodsy has been at the helm of that, you're going to need the Invisible Woman. Of course, you're going to need the Invisible Woman. Rocket coming out, Sia's and BRBs, and some maybe people come back to life will come around too.
I see the Cloak and Dagger, and the Cloak and Dagger's only been played like once, I'm pretty sure, and like even the Eternal Bond didn't come up very frequently. I feel like they didn't really utilize it as well as he could. So I'm kind of surprised that ban came out, but Elon seems to be comfortable on that pick, so maybe that's why they did it. Oh, hella great ban towards the tail end. It's not one that I saw come in late for Elon. I thought they would do it a little bit earlier, but they still got it nonetheless.
Okay, so they got rid of the Hella. That means that you're not going to have the same kind of air and land combo that you had with them when the Psylocke. Korean is floating a storm. All right, we haven't seen a storm in a minute. That might actually be what they end up kind of sticking into. Nah, all right. I don't dislike this. You're going to have to find a lot of perches, and those exist here, especially when you have to go to Clintar for Moon Knight. So the Rocket obviously ended up being a priority pick, and both sides will take them forward. Zach, we have not seen them on the Punisher at all. I wonder if this sticks.
Yeah, it's an interesting one for sure. They've been more the flank type, but I see the Punisher maybe just down Broadway. Maybe they feel like they can cause a whole lot of damage, just kind of taking one sight line and tearing into them, especially on symbiotic surface where you certainly have those lines of sight, especially at the very beginning of the map. So I anticipate even if we do see them, use it early, that might disappear over time as they finally cap that first point if they're able to get there.
This is actually one of those where to get to this point, look at that long, narrow hall line that comes away from Elon Gold's kind of spawn. There's a direct funnel. I see a lot of Venoms that kind of set up into that high arch point and then slam down. It works really well in combination with them alongside the elasticity of Mr. Fantastic. We haven't seen any Venom between these two. That's not going to happen at all. Zach is going to try and kind of set up for a turret, maybe around this outside angle, but they have to push forward, and Ottawa's set to receive them to this first point.
Yeah, Zach's Punisher is certainly going to work well getting rid of those onks, which will limit what Korean can do ultimately there from a damage perspective. And they'll try the right door side, which is certainly the right move here. V-Striker, they're going to try to catch them on the flank, and there'll be a battle between those Psylocks. It looked like V-Striker was winning it, and that bailed Reezy out of it. And already on point and challenging is Ottawa.
Yeah, Stryker was lock diffing Reezy, even with Reezy getting first spot onto them, and Reezy eventually is killed out, and that will be Stryker taking the one-up in the glory column over Elon. So Elon washing themselves upon the cliff that is Ottawa. Ottawa, not at all perturbed and not at all moving. They're about to find them off this right side flank, and they got to watch out. They could be fighting on a war that they cannot cover, and now the Phoenix begins to fall.
Yeah, and Moon Knight's going to be able to kind of step up in its place as well. The BRB will pull back Woodsy into this fight. That's a big one as you get that Magneto and all of that health right back on the table, plus the shield to be able to kind of shift things and try to push onto sight. But Ottawa did a great job being able to support that back line. We'll see if Zach jump here off the final judgment, see if they can't get in and cause a little bit more damage as they're not able to gain much. That shield came up in the right time, but it allows Woodsy to get back on this point and cause even more with the Meteor active.
Fantastic countering is happening right now. Ottawa puts up the boundary, and then they use the Meteor M, a quick build up into it just to be able to enforce some more damage, and they are snowballing back the Phoenix out of Elon Gold, already burning out 2 minutes to trying to be able to get this site. Remember, you got to get site first, then the cart unlocks, and the GGs out of Ottawa playing this very calm.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like they have any panic in their play. V-Striker has been a large part of that experience. Definitely comes in handy. A bailout did a great job from Zach to be able to utilize that rope to get away, and we'll have that hill. Yonk only manages temporarily, but Elon's going to have to go back to scratch as Zach has been nullified, and we'll go back to spawn.
As this Psylocke maybe should have been a priority target. The Dance of the Butterfly, able to get rid of Korean is Reezy, though. So getting rid of at least, an Onk threat is one thing, but they're cleared out just the same by WK5's Rocket. He cannot be forgotten as being a domination station style duelist. He knows how to lay out the damage just as much as he knows how to heal his friends.
Man, that is some sheer damage that you're getting out of both the Magneto and the Emma Frost. Danny eventually does drop one. The BRB pulls up one, and Woodsy's able to make that a 2-for-1. So basically a 3 trade-off. That is until week 5, and V-Striker are able to combine for a couple of their own. Elon just can't find any traction once they get on a point. They'll still be challenging, but the Psionic Seduction is going to try to pull them in as well, but really they're just pulling in damage here at this point.
Yeah, the Dance of the Butterfly is getting popped by Stryker. He gets rid of Joshua Ping Pong, so there goes some key healing from your Invisible Woman. So to be able to get Woodsy just hoping to sustain and unlock this point, but it's a 1 versus 3. The numbers are against them. We're at 40 seconds. They're about to get staggered out. They need to regroup.
They were able to get the heals just in time. So, oh no, Woodsy did eventually drop. So that's going to be a respawn from them. Even more time melted off this clock. Ottawa with a stronghold here. Elon's been so good at being able to push points, but you got push the payloads, that is. But as far as points go, that's where they've truly been struggling, and it shows here on this convergent map.
Gonna hang their way backwards. They're gonna use that storm. Okay, see if anyone's gonna drop straight back into it. Zach Jump doesn't find much from it. Everyone's able to evade just enough as soon as that one spawns up. Hoping to get rid of at least Korean MVP. Eventually they do go. Elon Gold has a chance to force this one into overtime. They're going to have a lesser clock, but you have to unlock this site. Otherwise, the win condition for Ottawa is to simply push this one all the way through. They are surviving for so much longer than what this Phoenix is looking to get rid of them for. Finally, looks like they're playing cleanup here, Bear. But it's taking forever.
Yeah, you got that storm back in action a little bit later on, but that's going to be difficult. Dance of the Butterfly is going to come through as well. B-Striker had to kind of bail out of it, though, as they're losing numbers. Zach Jump will eventually be able to break through. It is not going to be easy, though, and still isn't for free. Finally, they're able to manage a point where they're able to get everybody off the point, and Danny will eventually fall. Finally, it took halfway through overtime, but Elon Gold's capped the point.
This is going to be a tough one, especially because they're going to complete this run. They're going to be given about 2.5 minutes, but that's basically like each one of these lanes to completion. Overtime is going to consistently be brought back up there. And
but
Ottawa, they pretty much know the win condition is just unlock it faster.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, but remember the last time that Elon was in a situation where they had to constantly get into overtime and push. They did a great job in the convergence, so that's working for them at the very least. But again, the adjustments that we've been used to seeing, they've got to come in tandem. They do have 2 minutes on this clock, and they have 5 ultimates in hand.
A lot of also, they should be able to at least find some extension. Just winning team fight after team fight. Strikers looking for a chance to kind of leap into the fray. They don't have that Dance of the Butterfly, but they still have the ability to kind of get some extra information. They're going to use that one. Bang, big, boom. As they build up into that meteor, Woodsy gets rid of Korean MVP, but the BRB is back online. Now comes the Hurricane. It's not a lot of extra damage, but they're starting to peel them off the board, and that'll be a massive team fight, clearing them out. Ottawa pushed away as they're moving the symbiote.
Yeah, the Rocket Raccoon was the first one to fall in that instance, and because WK5 was not there to be able to spam heal, they didn't get much out of it as Uzi was still working their way back as well. I believe they were kind of swinging on the side, didn't have the sight lines in order to really make anything happen with that Invisible Woman, and that's why we did see that eventually work through. They will gain the next point as well. It will be challenged at just 2 meters, 0.75 meters, and now it's going to be a challenge here from Ottawa.
You're going to get the final judgment. Going to try and wall up. They don't have any extra shields. They're aiming to get rid of that Magneto. Woodsy eventually goes out. They're going to use the BRB to get back Joshua Ping Pong, so they're hoping to get some extra healing. But you also do have the Dance of the Butterfly if they feel like they need to, just at 0.75 meters. You, Ottawa, seeing themselves just finally able to claw into this defense, but it does take at least a couple with them, so they're going to be running back to point. Elon Gold hoping to kind of stick with the rest of this team, and you see them kind of staggered away. They're going to use the rest of that pulse, and that actually is going to hurt them, especially if they're going to aim for time.
0.08 meters, they still hold. Elon was able to get back on, was able to at least challenge, but Ottawa jumped right back on into Dance of the Butterfly. We've seen land more than that before, but they did get the Emma Frost off, but pulled up directly back with the BRB.
Casual Soup keeping his team up. That's exactly why Rocket is so clutch, especially in maps like this where so much of the fray ends up just directly skirmishing on top of these key points. And so this one is going to feel like it's going to be a sprint. This cave line, and then you go around that tree, and basically you're directly to sight. This one can feel so fast. So we basically have one solid team fight before this one escapes the likes of either Ottawa or Elon. You do have a Meteor M as well as the Invisible Boundary. That'll be a good combination for defense against Elon. And, I mean, you've got that tornado. They're looking for a place to put it. Zach Jump ready to bring the storm.
The Omega Hurricane out, swings around to get one. Uzi will fall. That's a big one, too. A good pick to have would be Invisible Woman as they press in. I was about to say, this is a tricky place to really attack from because of how much space you're given and allowed from the defensive side, but they've handled it extremely well here as Elon continues to push. Remember, we're on overtime as far as the point goes. Now they've got 50 seconds as they're pushing towards the end.
They're able to get a little bit of extra time, but still they need to make the symbiote sprint, and it is dragging those entrails along behind it. You've got that psionic seduction, gonna try and walk straight back into it. They have to get rid of the Sia. The Sia ends up dropping out, so Casual Soup, they end up burning through that as well. They've got one invisible boundary, and they're hoping to get the rest of the damage back up onto it as well. The turret's up, and here's the meteor. It gets popped. You can't land anyone to be able to get a pick off of the board.
And they continue to just try to create and occupy that space as well. Dance of the Butterfly and Final Judgment combination comes out. The Korean Beast Striker, the leaders of this Ottawa team, are able to hold strong, hold fast. As with 7 seconds left, that should be able to hold up in time. They're not going to be able to get back to it, so they don't go the distance. But a great job from, again, Elon, being able to push it as far as they did. They came up just short.
136.04. Little .0 quattro, and that'll be the game. That'll be the series for University of Ottawa. Look at the kill pickups. Of course, it's been Striker. You have some fantastic healing that's coming out of both Uwuzi as well as WK5. On the other end of things, Woodsy leading from the front. Dude is a brawler and is ready just all the time. I gotta wonder what kind of ends up being priority. Reezy hasn't been mega impactful for that Squirrel Girl. It does look like they try to kind of snipe from distance, make things difficult to start off, and maybe they're going to play the distance game up this mid hallway to start things off.
I do like this better for Reezy than when we saw it at Spider Islands. I think there's less reason. There's certainly that same stretch or hallway, but we're not seeing like you don't have the ability to flank, or at least they're not utilizing it from uOttawa. So Elon's certainly going to rely on that for the defensive side. But you're right, we won't see a map number 5. Instead, we've got our distance. And Ottawa's got a goal. It's go all the way or basically nothing. I mean, you can come up a little bit short, but 136.04 is basically to the end. Credit Elon for sticking through that overtime of the point, but now they're going to have to defend their will. In 5 seconds, we'll see Ottawa make their push.
I wonder if anyone's ever tied off of, like, distance. Is that even possible? Like, get directly to .03? Is that a
0.04. I mean... maybe it's got to be, right? In theory.
Someone bring in the tape measure. See what they can do with that. Well, they're going to use those acorns, trying to bust open some of this upper hallway so that they can expose them for what they are. Reezy, we're going to be online with them, and
there it is.
We're going to use that extra tail to kind of get some verticality. So Elon, gold. They're playing directly to site. They know that they need to make sure that uOttawa does not have a chance to kind of collect themselves, play from these off-flank angles, but having the high ground is a tough thing to give up.
Yeah, it is. You'll see them kind of bounce up and down from it. Ottawa is, so as V-Striker tries to just at least capture the attention of Elon to try to get them focused one way, be able to kind of strike it back the other. And Uzi's got the It's Jeff ready for it, so trying to maybe group them together. That's why you see this push towards the right side to try to catch Woodsy. And they are able to get him relatively low, but the heals come through just in time.
They're playing with they're playing with their picks as well. They're going to finally have the Squirrel Tsunami that's going to be running out from them. That will take away at least the floor space to try and start getting the site opened up. And actually, they're getting so much out of Zach Jump onto the Storm. You have a Storm on the other side. Striker eventually getting knocked out. Woodsy does have their ult online. They're trying to be overhealed as they use that shield to get back up into that right-click cannon. They will cut down through Cat. Zach will help them out. And that's a good first hold off of what was an elongated team fight.
Woodsy's got a no-panic attitude. Very brave being able to dive into it and capture that. And it takes a whole lot of reliance on your strategist to be able to be confident enough to dive in the way and block all of that damage, whether it be with shield or without. They've done a great job to not be able to panic when they get low, be able to tuck behind some natural cover, but then be able to trust your healers to be able to do the rest.
From just around this first pillar as well. You've got so many ultimates here for Elon Gold. They have the ability to really just hold. They've got that Sia and the BRBs ready from out of casual suit. Zach on that Omega Hurricane, and they also got the Meteor. So much can just force Ottawa to have to reset here when all they have is that Psionic Seduction. They're trying to wait for everything else to build up. Now suddenly everything else came online. There's a lot of big picks. They're going to go for the body slam. That's Arrow that's going to be fighting from the front line. There's the Sia. They're going to try and break through that. So everyone's getting that damage boost as they begin to push out.
Elon's got a sea of their own, an Omega Hurricane waiting for them on the other side, an invisible boundary to try to make it a little bit more difficult in this situation. But look how low they are, and Reezy is eventually finding so much damage, just being able to spam through with the nuts to put them on their backs as well, as invisible boundary comes out as well. That'll make it very difficult for Ottawa to try to navigate the waters that exist in front of them in this point.
Fantastic counter. They use the Squirrel Tsunami to be able to take away that floor space. It's quite the funnel, especially because they had committed into the final judgment, and then the invisible boundary cut them off at the pass. They had no idea where to just auto-target directly into that. So, University of Ottawa starting to see time escape them. Elon Gold has been able to survive moments like this. But the GGs, they've got a couple of big moments. Striker has a Galactic Legend. If you can be able to get to that back line, might be able to start clearing some space.
Ottawa continues to insist on just marching it up Broadway. Very bold, especially when you're running out of time here. 30 seconds, you have one realistic move. And 3 ultimates popped here. The Sia, the Omega Hurricane collecting more. Zach Chump's got some value as well. They continue to push down, although Uzi will be pulled up by the BRB.
They're hoping to isolate Korean MVP because of the rocket, but now because they overextended like that, they have to play backwards. Everyone's basically here. WK5, the Punisher's not going to have his ultimate for right now, and they have about 5 seconds. Present on site, that's one thing. Peeling it away from the claws of the Phoenix is another. Psionic Seduction, Danny and the gang trying to live on.
Oh, and Danny does finish the job. They almost tucked behind that cover. That would have been a completely different story. But now you'll see them shred through and cause damage. They've only got 1 healer left. The invisible boundary to try to keep them alive. It's working. In the meantime, they certainly will be able to keep themselves alive, push them back out. Overtime dwindling. It's Elon Gold that's fighting the pick after pick. They're going to be staggered in. uOttawa still on the point, though.
Takes a team to win a match, but it takes a village to be able to know the strats. Elon Gold, they run deep, and they're trying to adapt continuously to GG. Ottawa's surviving for right now. The numbers game dwindling on either side. Everyone trying to run back by the Phoenix, hoping to just live on. Ottawa needs to unlock this site. Dance of the Butterfly from WK5, but they end up being unable to unlock it. Elon Gold will be on to have a revenge match against Leslie as they move to the semifinals.
Wow, Dance of the Butterfly out just that close to being able to challenge it. And what a statement piece. Exactly what we expected out of these two teams whenever we saw the first few maps develop. We knew this one was going to be close. We knew that it was going to be a challenge for uOttawa, but we did not expect Elon Gold in this moment to be able to hang on the defense and not even surrender the point. So yes, it was a battle for uOttawa. They would have had a long way, but Elon Gold did it. They have been able to hold off. And they're the one to win. The Phoenix rise from the ashes of what was a terrible map one, quite frankly, to be able to put the W on the board here today.
It is a good thing that domination is simply one map and mode combo that they have to play. They did it twice, lost them both, but when you gotta go and get that site to then move that cart, something just changed in the mental shift for Elon Gold, and the adaptation was there. They ended up shutting down V-Striker. Didn't quite have, I mean, even when you see him like that, because off of the Psylocke, he was fantastic. They ended up handing it up over to WK5, thinking they got to get aerial superiority with the Star-Lord, but something about that just kind of damned the brakes. They were unable to break through the Phoenix.
Hey, big shout out to Arrow as well from the Elon side, as they do get the job done here at Quentar Symbiotic Surface. Somebody has to, man, the Emma Frost, and nobody did it better than Arrow. We barely called their names, and a good Emma Frost will not be called very frequently because they're doing their job well, right? It's all about their shield, but then being able to muster and fight off any would-be divers, anybody that's up close and personal, and they did a great job of that. Arrow really showed up when it mattered most there in Map 5, but also was pretty pesky throughout. It was very silent in the way they were able to create value for their team there in Elon Gold.
I mean, they were on to the thing as well when we were on Spider Islands, and I remember seeing them throw those haymakers. They were definitely cutting off those key kind of flank angles that anything that Ottawa wanted to start getting clever about. Maybe they couldn't go to the sky. A lot of the things they had to do were from the ground. Vanguards do be like that, but ultimately, yeah, great team player and a great team overall. Will be moving forward, not to take away at all what we got to see from uOttawa. This is a team that we got to talk to them just a little bit before about how they are trying to adapt these players that some have not even been into like esports, played the game, but they've been like, okay, now we got to do it as a team. Others from other titles like Overwatch and Splatoon, and they've got something special that could be brewing going into that next big semester. But it's Elon that they showed adaptation does win the day.
Yeah, 100%. They were the ones that were ready to adjust. They have the depth, like we mentioned, that certainly helped them out in those times, even through the tough times that we saw in map 1. And even though they dropped map 4, they didn't look ultimately bad. So even the domination map type, they were able to transition into something a little bit more strong. So I definitely respect their ability to adjust. But uOttawa certainly made them a run for their money for sure. They have some strong leaders in Korean and V-Striker. That certainly showed its head here today. And they will face that Leslie University team, Elon Goldwill, in the semifinals. So that's certainly going to be one to watch as well. I know Leslie University is relatively new, but they've been on the hunt for some brand new players, some freshmen from the Stay Plugged In platform. I know they've been super active. A relatively new esports program already making waves here. And we'll see them in the semifinals next week. Again, that'll be going down next week. The NECC Marvel Rivals Summer Tournament Playoffs Division 3 semifinals will be coming at you then. So for Hail Monkey Man, for me, Bear Light, we will see you next time. Good night.
With the stick is. Oh.
What am I supposed to say?
It doesn't matter. He's dead. He ain't listening to you anyway.
I'm hungry.
No. Put it away. I can't watch it. Oh, crap. Just reach in. You gotta pull it. Just grab it. Just take it out of his hand. What do you mean you can't?
He won't let go.
What do you mean you won't let go? He's dead.
Help me. Get in there.
No, just hold on.
Make him let go of it. No, I got you. Just go in for a hug. Go and get on in there. It's a bad loss. Yeah, hug him up. Just reach. Hug him up.